What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. I'm Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. This is Wednesday, which means we are ball free for the first hour, hour and a half, and then we'll open up the panel again and let everybody come in. It's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, so hope you enjoy. And we'll see where it goes. Last week it went pretty interesting places. Never know where it's going to go. And it is completely unplanned. So that's what it is. Let's go see what's going on.
The Jose had a show going on, but they were talking about the compressed images again.
Oh my god, that shit is. We've debunked that so many times. Even the Globers.
Oh shit! I forgot to call out the chat. We got Bill G says sound is good. Thank you very much, Bill G. Ian Adams, YouTube, page 42. Dan Morris, Chrissy Heavey, Danny Burgess, Flat for Life, Enigma, Matrix Media. What's going on, guys? All right, there. I would have felt bad if I didn't say hello to everybody.
Prove with this compressed image nonsense.
What's up, guys?
It only shows that you can't have a. Oh, hello.
Hey. Live.
Yo.
Yo. We got Jeremy, Chemo, Mailman, Ed, and what's up, Effie? What's going on, guys?
You know.
Huh.
Yo.
Say.
So I was listening in the in Gems for the last half hour or so, and I heard you guys going at it with our old buddy Ranty. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he thinks he's got something definitive here with this little picture of Blackpool, and it's just not. There's nothing definitive about it.
Yeah, I heard him refer to it as saying that there is mathematical drop.
Yeah, it's an optical phenomena happening that's given the appearance of drop. We've seen it for fucking years. This is not anything new.
I know it.
Is the mathematical drop the same as the refracted tangent?
Pretty close. They're on the same wavelength for sure. And that those along with Santa Claus, and Easter Bunny, a couple other things.
Remember, this is all possible in Narnia, fellas.
Yes, Narnia. It's a beautiful place to live if you're into joining worldwide religious cults. Oh, that's another thing. I heard Ranty say that this Effie is a religion. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, we're just realists looking for the truth, you know? I mean, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to figure out the truth. I don't want to be fooled or bamboozled by any anything that's not objective or definitive. I'm done playing games with people, and I just want some solid proof.
Yeah.
Either way.
How many times do you have to be lied to by the government and the media before you say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to figure shit out for myself.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we lived in a different world where we could, trust everyone and no one lied and everything was free, but that's just not the world we live in. So.
And it isn't like there's a whole bunch of books explaining how the CIA is connected to media and news and how the printing press came to be. It's like, it makes perfect sense for you to think that it's all a conspiracy because it seems to be all a conspiracy.
In one way or another, it is all a conspiracy, depending on how you define it. What exactly that conspiracy is up for debate. But this system that they've put in place wasn't designed by accident. I promise you that. And
yeah, because men with power desire to get more power, and it never ends. You constantly want more control, more power. So what do? You put things in place that, you set up systems that allow you to get more power and more control over time.
I love it when people say the system is broken. The system is broken. Okay, yeah, the system is doing exactly what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
You're the one that's broken.
Yeah, you just figured out that the system's fucked up. That's all that happened. The system's working perfect. Exactly.
No doubt.
It's designed to keep us down, keep us divided. United we stand, divided we fall. I mean, that's That's a true saying, and they work every way they can to keep us divided.
Oh, it's
They don't
sickening.
want us united. Yeah, they don't want us united. They'll use anything they can to keep us divided.
Everywhere you see division, artificial divisions
Yeah.
that were purposely created to consolidate power.
Yeah.
The media is the worst perpetrator, of course. We all know that.
Oh yeah, and they're owned by I think it's 3, 4, 5 corporations own all of the major media outlets, and I'm guessing all of the little media outlets too now.
Oh yeah. They've been consolidating those for a long time, and they set up media organizations that look like they're independent outlets, and they're actually just the same shit.
Companies do that all the time. There'd be one taxi company in your town, and they'd be like, "Oh, we don't want to look like we have a monopoly. We'll set up another taxi company with a different name, or a different phone company, and we'll set it up with a different name, so it looks like there's 2 phone companies." I mean, in the
Crazy.
meantime,
How
yeah.
they set up their own companies, and they set up their own studies, and they're all their own peer reviewed, and it's all funded by the same people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it.
oh, he was great.
Oh, I love
Man,
George
that guy was
Carlin,
ahead of
man.
his time, bro.
God.
He was too ahead of his time.
I miss that guy. He was hilarious.
Yeah. And he would drop truth bombs on you too. Like, it was he was funny, and I think George Carlin would have been a flat earther if he was alive right now.
Think so?
It's possible, more than a lot of other people,
Yeah.
He knew they were lying to us in the game they were playing with us.
He used to tell you that shit straight to your faces. We used to think it was funny because we thought it was a joke. He wasn't joking. He was literally saying the truth to our faces, and people was laughing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Chemo, what did you think about that conversation you had with Ranty in Gems? What are your thoughts on the whole situation now that you've had a chance to talk to him one-on-one?
Hey, Brandon. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Well, I just because you did bring up the religion. I don't know. It's just a difficult one. I think he's looking for an argument where there's not one. So I don't know what he's trying to achieve by asking flat earthers to address this. So that's why I would kind of refer it to Jeremy to explore or someone else, because it doesn't make sense.
Huh.
That's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
much right.
if he had something definitive, then there wouldn't be no debate, and we would all go home as Globers. But it's not definitive. It's still up in the air because you don't know what's happening in between you and Blackpool or you and the mountain. So here we are left in the same position we were with this optical phenomena happening of this apparent drop that we've seen year after year after year with the ships, the horizons, the boats, the city skylines, lighthouse, whatever you could think of, the sun, the moon. It's the same exact thing that we've seen year after year, so we're in the same position we were before. This isn't really anything groundbreaking or new.
No. I thought it was.
I don't understand. Like, I think that's why a lot of flat earthers are baffled, because it's like, I mean, Randy claims because it's over land and then water or something like that. Some weird combination of land and water that this observation was taken over. But I can't believe that that's the first time we've seen optical drop, this apparent optical phenomena of drop happening over land and then water, or just land. I don't know.
No, I don't think it is. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste of an argument from Ranty's point, because we've got the black swan, so he keeps on referring to it like this is the black swan, that was the black swan. So he clearly gets the argument, but for some reason it's for some reason he wants to go with the model, which he obviously knows is a reification. So I can't see where the argument is. I can't see how any flat earther who's already been in this would debate it. I can't see which angle they would take.
Yeah, it was interesting. He was saying that, we go down to the water level and he's taken many pictures where he could see across. and see further than you should on essentially black swan type photos. But then he takes this photo and he's looking at these mountains and he's saying that there's mathematical drop. That's somehow more compelling than the other observations where we see further than we should, according to their mathematics.
I had to laugh when he said that. Mathematical. How do you how do you even argue with this? You know, he's been told for years mathematics are just a construct. You know, it doesn't represent reality. So again, I can't argue with to what we understand as stupidity. You know, it's just nonsense. They've made up the radius, they've made up the numbers, and to think that would be a cause, it just doesn't make any sense. We shut globers down daily on that point. They've got no geometry. So
yeah, that's about how I feel too. It's kind of baffling, the whole thing. I was baffled from the get-go, but whatever. And I heard you're partnering up with Biodual on something.
They're partners in science. You know, partners in crime?
Yeah.
They're partners in science.
Oh, wow.
no, this is so the globers are not. I mean, so the flat earthers are not missing. This is complete. Mass does not attract mass. We know this. So the thing is, the globers do not know this. So in order to get the globers to understand their own science, they need to see for themselves that mass does not attract mass. Now we've had Blue Marble do his experiment. He didn't follow the scientific method by any means. You know, he's completely messed up that experiment. So the reason why I've always pushed this is because the zealot, as you might call them, believe in their own science, but they've never produced science all on paper. You know, peer-reviewed papers. So I pushed it, and pushing it, you know, because like I want them to see for themselves that they don't have this experiment. Biodual says it's been done. I said show it. He couldn't show it. He said there's papers. I says well it's just a paper. Till he finally said right I'm going to do it myself. Show that, you know. So we're now basically he's in the middle of doing an experiment to prove mass attracts mass. So
yeah, okay.
I mean,
That's what
honestly,
you guys are
the
referring
papers are not. Sorry, Brandon.
Oh, no,
the
go ahead.
papers are nothing. I could write down on paper that there was a unicorn and a leprechaun in my backyard last night. And what are you gonna do with that? You know what I mean? You got to show us something. You got to show it happening. Because I've seen things where a lot of those peer review papers, the shit can't even be replicated. They don't try to replicate them. So when they do, sometimes they can't even replicate them. That's the whole peer review process has issues. But anyways, you know, some people are from the show me state. You got to show me.
Yeah, I agree
Well,
with that. Yeah.
I mean, at least we'll have something to talk about. Right now, we can't just talk about what they have on paper. You know, they have an experiment with all the variables are not isolated and accounted for. It's just a nonsense base. So some ball earthers want to do the honest thing. Biodual he wants to know himself. You know, this is not about anyone else, or it's to him. He wants to know, does mass attract mass? So he's gone out and he's bought the kit, and obviously he's going to try and show me and himself and everyone that mass does attract mass, and everything's been isolated for. So my view is that he won't show it because it doesn't. It's not a real thing. So that's where I'm at the moment. And if it does, I've said to him, it will answer a lot for the globe side. So that would sway me to the globe side, because for me, the explanations for water sticking to a ball, they would have an answer for. Gas pressure out of the container, they would have an answer for. Again, don't panic, because mass does not attract mass. This is, as I'm saying it, people are thinking, well, what if it moves? What if it moves? Well, we know there's no pulling forces in nature. Nothing just pulls. People say magnets, but we don't truly know how a magnet works. But in general, we have a press. So if those balls were moving, to me, they'd be pressed from somewhere, and then they start moving. But in a vacuum, you remove the pressure, the air, cause what I understand it to be, and then we can work from there. So that's as far as I am at the moment.
Yeah, I've got several issues with Cavendish that we've discussed before. I'm just not impressed by it at all. It seemed to me like it was contrived to specifically show what they wanted to show to support their argument and their cosmology. And they never isolated a variable, and they made all kinds of assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they the purpose of the experiment, we all know, wasn't to prove that mass attracts mass. That's not what the purpose was in the first place. It was, he had already assumed that. He had already taken Newton's calculations as fact and applied those. So whatever he witnessed, and he did exclude some variables. He's tried different materials and different temperatures and whatnot, and did it a bunch of times. But we're talking about such a minuscule force that he observed, and he didn't isolate all the variables, obviously.
I mean, I went over with Kosho about the gravimeter and how wind blowing in nearby trees was affecting the gravity of this. So it's like, how can you do that? How could you have Cavendish if you have such a minuscule amount of gravity affecting it? And why the fuck aren't other things happening that gravity should be doing if it's that sensitive? We should be getting tides and pools, bathtubs, and glasses of water if it's that sensitive.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Supposedly those gravimeters are also affected by the position of the sun and the moon. They have.
That's what I was telling Blue yesterday. I was telling him, what do you? I want to see this done. With, how fast is it moving when the sun and moon are both on the same side as opposed to the other side, or they're in a solar eclipse?
Right.
Because is there a method that people can follow to ensure that we know the answer to something? So I know, like, Brandon, you don't like it, probably Jeremy, you don't like it, but my question is, if all variables were accounted for to your satisfaction, and then you saw the balls moving, that goes to everyone on the panel and everyone listening. If all variables accounted for, what more are we asking to be done after that? If it moves after all variables, what then?
Well, if they had all the variables accounted for, magnetism, electrostatics, the vacuum thing, I can't think of anything else right off the top, but if they did manage to account for all the variables, you could have this on a flat Earth. This isn't a game changer for me. Like you could
agree then that mass attracts mass, or not?
They would have a better story and more proof that mass attracts mass, and this could work on a ball. I guess maybe I don't know, because and with the gas, as far as getting the gas to stick to the ball, I mean, I don't know.
That's how we know, Jeremy. Mass does not attract mass. That's what I mean. The ballers are that egotistical, not thinking about actually how gas works. Because if it was true, then you would have a downward bias, right? But obviously we don't have a downward bias. So they can't show that in a Cavendish experiment. It's impossible.
I mean, you'd have to show me gas attracting gas for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they claim that they got gas planets and shit out there. So it's like, well, there must have been gas attracting gas at some. I don't know. This wouldn't make me switch over to the globe at all.
Yeah, the idea that the atmosphere is just kind of floating around because of this weak gravitational force, just, I don't know, man.
It's strong enough to, yeah.
It's just this gas cloud is just hanging out around the Earth, and it gets even more ridiculous, of course, with the rotating Velcro bullshit that they believe
It's
in.
even worse than the Velcro air sticking to the ball, spinning in lockstep. They got it going faster at the top, which is fucking even worse than it going lockstep, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
No, none of that story really cuts it for me.
I mean, what we're asking them to do is show gravity, which they've never been able to do. So again, it's like Biodual feels he can do what the scientists haven't done or you can't do. It's never been shown in the vacuum before, ever. And he will be literally the first person to show mass attracting mass in a vacuum like we can see it.
Yeah, let's
I
see
mean,
it.
he's already said it. He's already said that if it doesn't work, though, it just means he messed up. And
I
it's
know,
not.
I heard that. But he
Yeah.
said before, if it doesn't work, he was going to give up all of his physics and the gravity and the globe.
Yeah,
And now he's backtracking. I heard that, Jeremy. Yeah, today.
Yeah.
I heard him say that before too. That's interesting. So if my experiment doesn't work how I think it should, I don't get the result that I think, then it's because I screwed up.
Yeah.
Talk about confirmation bias.
No
Right.
shit. I don't think that's the proper way to approach things. You know.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you want to repeat it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's not going to have to do it. I'm telling you. Like I say, we already understand gas does not there's not a downward bias. We know this. We know gravity is not a force. We know mass does not attract mass. It's just the globe earthers do not know this for some reason. And unless they actually do the science themselves, how are they ever going to know?
I'll
So
tell you what.
Biodual does this, all the ballers will see this because it will be the only one.
If he can't get this to work, this is Nobel Prize shit right here. He's gonna win a Nobel Prize, and everyone's gonna have to rethink everything they know about everything.
Well, I'd be surprised if anybody paid attention. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what he comes up with and how he executes it for sure. When is he supposed to do it?
Well, he said he's bought the pump. I think he's just waiting for a few more bits to get together. So again, I asked him in December. We're now in May. So
all right.
I'm
sure he's got priorities, It's not exactly gonna change his life.
He does sound eager and wanting to do it.
Yeah,
so.
he does sound eager. He seems honest. Like it's rare that you meet a ball earther. Even though they have egos, it's rare that you meet a ball earther who wants to meet your terms, the conditions, and try and prove you wrong.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we get this.
I think I called him a fuck monkey a week or so ago, so I feel bad about that a little bit.
Well, we've never seen when do ball earthers ever actually do science that follow a method that we agree on?
Usually never, yeah.
No, because they don't. That's for little kids. Remember, Chemo? Having a base standard in science is for little children.
Sixth graders, yeah, fifth graders.
Is it fifth graders now? I thought it was.
I don't
middle
fourth.
School.
It could have been third graders. It's probably down to second graders soon. Who knows?
I don't know I don't understand what's wrong with having a base standard.
Yeah, the one that natural observed phenomena, independent dependent hypothesis with your independent dependent, that is a good standard to have. That is as close as you will come to proving something scientifically. Now, you don't have to use science to prove everything. I could be face to face with you and prove that I have a quarter in my hand, without using science. But when it comes to science, that's the closest you'll get is by using that method. When you use some other half-assed, willy-nilly method, you're going to come up with a million miles to the sun, and then 3 million miles, and then 10, and the list goes on.
Yep. And
you're gonna think
that you're gonna think that you measured a force that is equivalent to the weight of a third of a grain of salt, and go around telling people that you know how much the Earth weighs. That's some crazy loony shit. I don't care what anybody says. That's something a crackhead would come up with at a carnival.
You would have thought that people like Conspiracy Cats, Fight the Flat Earth, Simon Dan would have had these experiments on tap. Here's the mass, here's the attraction, but it's never been shown and never been seen by human eyes, this attraction in a vacuum. Although there are many papers written about it.
They claim to have seen it. There's a lot of people that claim to have seen Bigfoot also. So, where should we go with that?
Bigfoot's real. We have one choice. Mass attracts mass and Bigfoot's real, or they're both fake.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent in your logic. Fuck, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Well, anyway, that was just me kind of like putting flat Earth on the line by saying that's how confident I am that he's not going to show mass attracting mass. It's a made-up concept. There's zero evidence of this. There's no mechanism for a pull. Like, it's just not possible for something to grab onto something else without applying pressure. All we know is when something moves or accelerates, it's because of a pressure. So it's impossible that he can show this, in my opinion.
Why do you exclude magnets from that, Chemo, from being a pull force?
Do we know how magnets work?
As I'm aware of, not really.
No, I don't. And again, for me, there would be a pressure somewhere, at some point, somewhere, somehow. Again, I don't know if there is a negative pressure, and you're saying there's a pull. It'd be interesting to look how the mechanism of pull works.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Mm.
Huh. Okay.
So that's why I'm extremely confident that he's not going to show mass attracting mass.
Yeah. You said something. You said you put flat Earth on the line. I think we should always be doing that. I think we should always be challenging our beliefs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to, if you want to come down to the truth and find out what's really good, you should definitely put your beliefs on the line and go that extra mile like Chemo's. I mean, I don't personally think this can prove anything, but we will know more after this. Definitely thanks to Chemo.
Well, before you pick on me, Jeremy,
I'm not picking.
I'm joking. But you were saying your subsolar point, your subsolar ground speed thing will be proof of a globe for you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. I put myself out there. I put myself out there too. I mean, I haven't heard anything great from anyone about how that could work on a flat Earth. I heard the Pac-Man map or various other things that just didn't really move me in any way. So
yeah, I look at that subsolar point thing as it has potential to falsify the globe. Personally,
yeah, but what could you say though if it came back as the globe numbers though? How would you say, oh yeah, this could still happen on a flat Earth?
Oh, I don't know. I'd really have to think about that one.
That's what I mean. I'd have to think long and hard about that because I feel like that would be a really tough one to get around,
But until I see some empirical data and not a website that's based on the globe model, I'm not too not too interested in it. But I would like to see it accomplished. Did you get any volunteers from us talking about it the other day?
No, I still just got 5 people. Like we said though, those places in the tropics are I've never seen any Chinese person. Have you seen a Chinese person in the flat Earth arena?
Oh, I've got so many Chinese groupies, it's unreal.
Yeah, or how many people from I don't know, fucking Ecuador or India or one of the African countries, Madagascar. I haven't seen anybody from any one of those countries in here ever.
Yeah, no, not too many. India is an interesting place. What do Hindus believe? Does anybody know what their cosmology is?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's who would know that? Who would know that? Oh well.
I feel like Geo would know that.
Yeah, he's Geo. What do Hindus believe the Earth is?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, Hindu cosmology is based on a level Earth surrounded by a celestial sphere. They have something called Bhumandala in the Vedic. I mean, all of Hinduism and Buddhism comes from the Vedic teachings, and they have Bhumandala, which is essentially the plane of the Earth, and then they have all of the different layers of the heavens going up from there. So yeah, it's based on a level stationary Earth. I'll post a couple little mandalas in the general chat of the Hindu cosmology.
Cool.
Like there's a lot of flat earthers that I've told the subsolar point to, and they're with me. They're like, yo, this could be a game changer. That's tough to explain on a flat plane if it comes out for the globe. Now, if it comes out as the flat Earth numbers, Ranty will be switching back very quickly, so that'll be weird. But yeah, we'll have a lot of new flat earthers if we come up with the flat Earth numbers, no question. That'll be a paradigm shift, a worldwide paradigm shift right there.
Absolutely.
So,
well, I don't see White's word out in the chat. I haven't heard lately if he's still working on his experiment or what. But I'd love to get an update on that. If you're.
oh yeah, he had a good one.
Yeah, I really want to see that one.
Hell yeah, that's another thing. Drop from horizontal. The sun thing's a little iffy, kind of, not really, but the drop from horizontal, the way White's word worked his little diagram out with the rope, the string, and all that. That's fucking definitive right there. Like, that's no question, no holds barred shit. You're either gonna have force going up or force going down off of that.
Hey, listen to this. Dan Morris in chat says, I've been digging into the subsolar point thing. And he says, are you aware all mainstream models already show that the sun covers more ground in less time in the southern hemisphere?
Covers more ground in less time. That's the flat Earth shit right there.
Yeah,
we need it to speed up in the south, essentially, or at least in one of the circles. It needs to be going faster than the bottom. So, yeah.
I'll ask him where we can get more details on
where.
that.
Yeah,
what's
where do
he
you
looking at? What sources he's got?
Time and date goes with the globe, so
right.
Because why would they lie?
Of course. What benefit would they have to lying to us all, right?
Yeah. How could they lie? I get from the Globers every day. Oh, you think people wouldn't notice? Da da da. I don't know. Who's really out there checking for the subsolar point? Nobody fucking does that shit. They go to work, feed their kids, worry about getting groceries, the laundry. No one's out there checking for subs. People don't even know what the fuck that is half the time. I bet you if I called my mom right now and asked her what the subsolar, she'd have no fucking clue.
I think my mom would, only because she is a earth scientist, a geologist.
Oh, what the fuck? That doesn't count. You call 20 random people up on the phone right now. Maybe one might know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we'll see what Dan knows. Oh, he's gonna email me, so we'll get some information on that. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. That's good information there.
Email Brandon at Global Elite Illuminati Controller at gmail.com.
I try to only give that out to other 33rds. Jeremy, I told you that when I gave it to you. At the last sacrifice, you don't remember?
Yeah. The sacrifice. Yeah. How could I forget? We had the burning owl in the Bohemian Grove.
Yeah, you were in an altered state too. So.
Yeah, that's right.
So what's going on? We had quite a few more people join. Everybody's pretty quiet today. Just call out the flat earthers here. Geo, obviously, we just said hello. Matrix, I think, spoke up. Rakia Life, Rob, on the level, Keen, Seek and Find.
Yo,
the Adam Meekin, the real Bob Dole was very quiet. Maybe he's mad at me about Monday. And
I'm sick of you, Shell. No, I'm sitting here listening to you guys playing Skyrim.
Oh, cool. You guys heard yesterday George offered me $10,000 for the
Sell
Discord.
that shit, bro. Sell that shit and we'll go open up a new Discord.
Right?
It's only the Discord, right?
Yeah,
Just go to
easily.
Discord.
Maybe he doesn't know how it works, but we can broadcast from any Discord.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, good angle there. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, 10 G's. It's a good deal right there.
Oh,
Shit.
I don't know if he wants the YouTube channel too. He didn't say that, but
Oh. Nah, don't give him the YouTube.
no.
Don't give him the YouTube.
Anyhow, I'm not gonna sell out to George of all people. That would really be something. Ranty goes to
Yeah,
Cat.
10 little.
I sell out the channel to George.
Yeah.
My check.
We hear
Yeah,
ya.
you're good.
Thank you.
What's up, Silent Zero?
No, I was gonna ask Jeremy if he has people already for that test he was gonna do on that.
I got 5 people, bro. One of them is going to be on vacation during the subsolar point.
I was
He said he'll
gonna
do it for me. They're all.
I was gonna
globals, by
tell
the way.
you, Jeremy, that whenever you're gonna put the 2 persons to drive the distance, make
Yeah.
sure one like those distances are on a straight path or line, however you wanna call it, because if one is going on hills up and down, that's gonna be a shorter distance than
Sure,
if
as
one
straight
is
as we
going.
can-
Yeah,
Yeah,
as straight
absolutely,
as you
as
can.
straight-
Yeah.
as straight as we can get. Also, we're those
Yeah, you know what I
little
mean, right? Like if you put like one is
Yeah,
gonna drive
here's-
100 miles and one is going on the mountains up and down, that distance is gonna be shorter than the other one driving
You do
100
want
miles
it.
on a straight line.
Yeah, you do want it as straight as you can get. However, on the other hand, the curve's going in an arced path. So so if you do take little hills and a couple bumps and shit, it's not really that bad. I don't think it's gonna throw you off that bad because we'll probably be doing the same thing in the south as to the north. You know, there's gonna not be perfectly straight roads in the south either. So, I mean, you go off Google Maps, you drive it.
Wife is calling me. I'll be back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If you go off Google Maps and you drive it and you're like, all right, I drove it, it said 50, I did 55 miles. Google Maps said it's 53 miles or, you know, a couple miles less or something, you know, you could be pretty sure that it's in between that range. And the sun's going to need to be going very much faster on one circle than another circle. So it's going to be apparent. It's not like we're trying to measure Earth curvature over 2 feet distance or something crazy, you know?
So now they don't only need to see the shadow, they need to drive also. I see.
We can verify. Yeah,
Oh,
so we can verify it.
Sure, it's gonna happen.
We always like to hear from you, but it's flat earthers only right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was about to go in on them.
No, that's
Jeremy,
okay.
wouldn't you say
Save it
that's
up.
their claim, though? Why are you proving or demonstrate their claim?
Well, yeah, no, they should have definitely have done this before. Absolutely. Sometimes we got to take the burden of, you know, you could play
Yeah,
the
I
burden
hear
of
you. I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to know more about reality, and this is going to get us closer. I feel like we're going to know the ground speed of this, you know, of the sun,
Mm.
of this subsolar point after we're done. They're not going to do it for us. You got to understand, they're not going to do anything. They've got it all sewn up. I can't believe BioDual is doing this in the vacuum for you because they've got it all locked up right now. They don't need to do anything. The whole world believes it's a globe, almost, and they're sitting pretty right now. You know, we may be winning the debate.
That was ego. Because when that happened, you know, he rolled in thinking flat earthers are stupid. You know, so he was like brand new. You know, not brand new, but newish. Like, oh, I can show these flat earthers that we've got science. And when I brought up Cavendish, he was like, yeah, I've seen it. It's been done. Like, he's going on like this. And I'm like, well, who's seen it? It's never been done, never been seen. He's like, yeah, my college university have been doing it. I'll go there and show you, record it, and just show you. I was like, okay, fine, go. Come back a couple of days later. Oh, I couldn't get hold of what a professor to speak to. So he said, I'm going to buy it myself. So it kind of went quickly like that. And I even said to him, don't bother buying it. Don't bother doing it because you're not going to get the results you want. And he is insistent. Yeah, I can do it. I can prove to you stupid flat earthers that mass attracts mass and, you know, all the kind of stuff. So he really believes in the papers that they write, peer-reviewed papers, like it's gospel to him. And I'm like, well, where's the experiment? So in his head, he's thinking they don't write papers without an experiment. So I was like, where's the experiment? And he couldn't produce it. I'm going to do it myself.
peer reviewed is severely flawed. Like I said earlier, half of those things it's their own people in that field doing it. So if it's anything that goes against that field, they're not going to rubber stamp the okay on it. And the second thing was they did a study and found that a lot of those fucking the things couldn't be replicated. They just couldn't replicate it.
Right.
So yeah, we want to see that shit. I mean, that'll definitely tell us more about reality. If that shit doesn't work in a vacuum, you're gonna be the fucking man.
He's not gonna do it. But all he does now is like send you some sort of a Mentos, drop it into Diet Cola.
What?
What's up?
Yeah, that he's just playing along or something like that for entertainment purposes.
You don't think he's going to do it, Crit?
No, he said. Well, yesterday I'm not sure if I misunderstood, but he made it apply that he just does it for entertainment purposes now.
They like to say
Just-
that. They like to say that they're just here to laugh at us or for entertainment. They love to say that.
Sometimes when they're screaming and all frustrated, it don't sound like they're having that great of a time though.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, good point.
I tried to talk to that General Shady. He likes to try to bait people into a conversation. And I was like, sure, whatever, I'll talk to you. The dude just, as I was talking, just started giggling. Just opened his mic and started laughing. At the same time, kept complaining that I was interrupting him. I'm like, dude, you're giggling like a little schoolgirl. You're uncontained right now. You're just beside yourself.
That's Jem's trick. He did that yesterday. You guys catch that? I think it was yesterday when he was in here and he complained about Adam, which that was cracking me the fuck up, by the way, was rumpusing him. And then calmed down and Jem had his talk, and then it was Adam's turn and Jem starts interrupting him. Every fucking time he does that.
Just got back and heard my name there.
Oh, Adam.
So, first of all, evening, guys. Apologies for my unruly behaviour yesterday.
Oh no, it was all right. It was fun.
Yeah, I sent you a message in Skype. It was
in your action.
quality muting, Brandon, and perfectly timed. So thank you. Yeah. I appreciate your professionalism there.
Oh, no problem.
But yeah, sorry. There was no need for that. Genuinely, I was just, I suppose, kind of flat Earth white knighting a little unnecessarily, but from what I heard of the lady, she knows more than handling. But sometimes Jem's behaviour is just not genuine, and I overreacted. So apologies to you, and apologies to Jem for being such a dick to him, because I was.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, no apology necessary, but I appreciate that the thought there, Adam. I thought it was pretty funny.
It's not how
to
I
be honest.
genuinely conduct myself normally, Brandon. So yeah, like I say.
No, I understand. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I was a little surprised it was coming from you, but I figured you just had enough. You just had one of those moments where you were just didn't want to take it anymore.
That sums it up, yeah.
Yeah, that happens to all of us from time to time. Trust me.
Yeah, they were all kinds of triggered on Gems yesterday. Almost everything I said was copied and pasted over there. Like, oh, I'm more sure about anything. It's like, oh, he's talking about NASA. Like, watch, he'll mention Nixon next. They're always listening. They're like the creepy ex-girlfriend who just has to know what you're up to at all times.
I think they're more like Stan from the Eminem video.
And then they hardly ever leave their echo chambers. Then when they do, they just melt down like like some sort of triggered snowflake. And they can't even explain what they're thinking.
They just fall apart when they're not in great number. I mean, because their mind is that somebody somewhere else has the answer. So obviously when they're in their group, they're all together and they think together as a collective, somebody somewhere has an answer. That's why one jumps in after the other. You know, if he can't answer it, somebody else will. And that's how they operate. If he doesn't know the answer, somebody else will, and pretty much where they are right now.
That's why a
Like,
lot of them
Joe's a good
say
example. He's here now, by the way. He's just deafened himself, but he's a good example. He was like, well, we know somebody somewhere who has done Cavendish in a vacuum, but when he actually investigated, found it's not there to be seen. So that's what we're dealing with.
that's why a lot of those guys will stay in their echo chamber, because it's safe for them. You know, they don't have all the answers and they know it, and they know that their people will be there to back them up, or, you know, obfuscate or do some whatever tactic they use to so it makes it look like they don't lose the argument or the debate.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, they are getting more and more angry. They are getting more and more aggressive. They're using more and more tactics. They've got to obviously do that. And they're doing pretty much everything they can to slow it down. You know, and just ridicule it as much as they can and mock it and just hope. Mock and hope is what they're doing.
As they get closer to the truth, the more they're going to resist the flatness.
Well, yeah, some of them are weary and tired now. You can see some of them are falling away, like Quantus or Quartus. He was one time deep involved in the argument, and then realized, you know, he can only go so far, and gave it up because can't prove something that doesn't exist.
I noticed that yesterday. We were talking about things that we can see floating across the moon, and all of a sudden it was like, we've got no idea how big these satellites are. We don't know what we're talking about. And it was just rubbish. Quickly, all of them just trying to rubbish anything that we're actually thinking, well, actually, no, we do know how big they are, because they advertise them. They show us. They display them. They want you to buy their equipment, you know.
Well, I think the best part of yesterday was when Phil said, we don't put satellites on balloons. And then Brandon ripped about, I don't know, 2 or 3 sources off of them saying we put satellites on balloons.
One
great.
from NASA, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucking classic right there.
And you can...
Go ahead, Chrissy.
And you can literally buy second-hand weather balloons in the UK. So it's... yeah, the fact that they don't know all of this, it surprises me, considering they're the ones supposedly putting them up.
They don't
satellites on balloons. Satellites on balloons.
Do they retrieve them?
Satellites on balloons scares them. They can't. They don't want satellites to be on balloons.
They don't like to talk about that. They do not like to admit that that is a thing at all.
It scares them. Professor Phil knows very well there's satellites on balloons. We discussed it months ago. And just research Google Loon. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they certainly don't like that. And when you start talking about water, they go nuts then.
Oh, water is their Achilles heel. They go crazy.
Isn't it?
Don't talk about water.
Isn't it?
Oh, my God, no.
You know what I found interesting yesterday was this argument between measurement and calculation. And this comes up every once in a while because I think they have to tell themselves that a calculation is the same exact thing as a measurement, because that makes the ideas that they believe in more concrete. Whereas,
yeah, that was such a ridiculous argument. Like,
I think it's for prestige. I think they do it for prestige to make it sound like it's important.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, bro, no prestige. Because they want to point to the sky after and say, hey, that star is 5 billion light years away.
I mean, it was like when Whitsitt was debating on Friday, and the guy had no idea, first of all, how big the Earth was, the radius, and he had no idea how to make a measurement. He was saying, well, you look at the star, and then you look at the horizon, you calculate.
Yeah. The guy with the beard.
No, hold on. Have you got a practical measurement, a physical measurement? And then it must have dawned on him later on. He was like, well, do you mean with a tape measure? But that was after hours or, an hour or two of explaining the difference. So they think by calculating something they're making measurements. So
Well, visually, if you're talking about angles, every part of the angle needs to be preserved for your calculation to hold. That way, you can take a token that represents the whole thing, like the angle, and it will be fully accurate. But with a perspective, merging, converging, and making these units of vision disappear, that calculation becomes a little suspect because we need to see if those units of angular size and calculation are disappearing due to going behind an Earth curve, or because of the diffraction limit, refraction, something optical. So calculation is no good. We need a physical operation like a laser hitting the bottom of the object through the hump of Earth curvature if it's flat, and or hitting this hump if it's a round ball.
That reminds me. Does anyone have the Soundly's? I think it was Soundly took a picture of a hotel room. Or sorry, he took a picture of a hotel from over across the way a little bit of a body of water or something, and at the horizon, as the hotel room floors got progressively closer to the horizon, they were progressively getting smaller and smaller in height from the top one. Does anyone have that picture? Or it was like a sunny day, maybe not sunny, but it was daytime, and the hotel was had like balconies maybe, and the light colored texture on the outside. If anyone has that, DM it to me, please. Thank you.
I haven't seen that one, but there was one that what was that guy's name who got kicked off of YouTube and went to DLive? Red Pill Philosophy took.
I think Rakia has a picture like that. I'm not sure. I think Rakia has one like that.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah. But yeah, I've seen quite a few pictures like that, and that's
what I'm talking about. Though,
see the floors compressing.
The floors, like the top one will be, on the picture you put a ruler up to it. The top floor will be, I don't know, 2 inches, and then the next floor down will be 1 inch and 7/8, and then the next one down will be 1 inch and 5/8 or something. It's getting progressively smaller as they get near the horizon. This compressing that Lemon's always talking about, the smushing, as we like to call it, technical term.
Yeah, we saw that with the sugar tank experiments too. The top remains relatively unaffected, while the bottom smushes.
So how does your perspective math hold up when that smushing's going on? Right?
Well, anything that's below 0.02 degrees of angular resolution should not be counted for the angular size of an object, because that will effectively disappear, be it from the horizon in the foreground and or on the object itself. So unless this key part is taken into account, you're going to get a bad impression that there's a hump of Earth curve blocking it when it could be some optical angular resolution thing.
Yeah, but I want to know is, how does your perspective math hold up when this smushing is happening, right? How could your perspective math hold true when
it doesn't?
When you get the
it can't. It can't.
That's what
bro.
I'm saying. I know it can't. Yeah, exactly. That's the
not
whole
only
point.
that, but Jeremy, go back like 3 hours from then, or 4 hours, or a day later. That smushing will be different. Of course, you know that, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. The perspective only argument on Randy's picture is just a straw man. I mean, yeah, perspective's in play, but there's way more to it than that. And earlier in Gems, the Globers were acting like, well, how do you quantify the smushing? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Then they're like, well, we don't have to account for it then. I'm like, yeah, but it happens. But they're like, if you can't quantify it, then we don't have to account for it. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you need a smushometer. A smushometer.
Ask him how to draw a straight line to the smush with the smushometer. Yeah. It's delusion. They're delusional, guys. They're delusional. It's just a picture.
Well, the thing is, we have to check these principles, because they say double the distance, half the size. Well, what's your baseline? Because if you try to say double the degrees Celsius, double the energy, you're going to be wrong. You have to convert it to the right baseline of Kelvin, which is absolute, double that, and then you get a degree Celsius, which may go from like 10 to 43. If you're talking about double the energy. So since they don't have a baseline, their mathematical principles are highly questionable. So if you have the baseline being, say, the height of the object itself, like 158 meters for that tower in Ranty's photo, being the baseline where it has to be 158 meters away to start the doubling. Okay, well, when you look at that, for the total distance of the tower in the foreground, 20 kilometers divided by 158 meters, it would double going off of that, baseline 126 times, and basically go down by half 126 times based off of that baseline. But if you do that to the mountain, with the mountain at 950 meters, and divide it by its distance of 80 kilometers, 80 kilometers divided by 950, it would double in distance and halve in size like 156 times. So based off of at least that, having, and doubling time distance or whatever, based off size, the thing in the foreground would go down by half less than the thing in the background. So what's your baseline? This is all over the place.
Well, Jeremy, did you say that they said that if you can't quantify the effect, you don't have to account for it?
That's what at least a couple of them were saying. Yeah, like I'm like, guys, it's happening.
Can we or they quantify the quote unquote refraction in the Black Swan? I've never heard them account for it. Like, because how are you going to account for the weather between here and
Timbuktu?
10 miles away, 20 miles away, 30 miles away.
That's when you need a smushometer.
Well, they didn't even account for it in the profoundly swamp ass refraction photo. I mean, refraction all over the place. You could see it in the pylons with them curving backward with the pylons from that place. And they didn't even bother to check for refraction there. I mean, debunked. I mean, that thing is showing obvious curvature, and what to me looks like obvious swamp gas refraction with the cold and warm water layers mixing down there, but they don't even check that for refraction? I'm sorry, that's just BS.
This is all divergent tactics, ladies and gentlemen. They want you looking at mountains and stars instead of looking the ground where we stand upon. That's where the answer is. The ground and the water.
Our ground,
water is level, yes, sir, and horizontal, yes, sir.
That's what we've got to do. We've got to stand our ground. I mean, it's all on them. They seem to forget that.
The question isn't, why are those mountains lower than that thing right there?
Can I say something to Brian Matt?
Maybe after I'm done. I don't know.
All right, sorry.
Maybe in the middle. Maybe while I'm talking. Let's try it out. I don't know. Hey, damn, forgot.
They asked the question.
The main claim, the main paradigm we live under is based on the claim that it's geometric. So that's what they should be answering, not whether or not things look lower than other things. What does that have to do with the geometric nature of what we see in front of us?
You know what they're saying, Lige? They're saying this doesn't work on a flat Earth. So they're straw manning us. They're trying to twist the burden of proof by telling us to answer this on a flat Earth model, which we've never said we have a flat Earth model.
They distract them from the globe attack point. I did want to piggyback like that distraction technique points. Like even earlier, me and Brian was.
Well, I don't know
why did things go to hey, Chemo, do you agree that? And I'm on your side here with this distraction technique thing. All day they've been asking again, me and Brian Mabbott, why do things go down? In their globe model, things don't even go down; they go in. It's a joke the way they act sometimes.
You know what you should ask them in their fantasy? Because they have a problem now. They have a paradox. They want to laugh at us up, down. Okay, tell them. Do they have two drops or a hump? You know, when you're in the ocean, you guys heard of the twin boat paradox? The double drop or a hump? You have two boats on the water, right? 6 miles apart. And you're facing each other. How does the water look to each observer? This is what we should be talking about. Stuff like this. Reality. Parallel. Straight lines.
Straight lines, yeah.
What about if you had a third boat? Hey, everybody.
Hey, Brian.
Hey,
What's up, Brian?
Brian, Ranty asked me who won out of this debate.
Hang on. Wait, let's not distract from the third vote would give you 3 coplanar points.
Well said,
Right, and
brother.
then that's where they claim over 180 degrees at the third, position with the triangle. They're going to tell you it's bigger than 180 degrees.
I think that's in that 100 proofs from 1885. That boat scenario.
Yeah, we need to bring this to reality.
Tiniest angle.
All they've ever had is to go up high and then measure a dip angle to an horizon. And I'm not about geometric horizon, the claim of a measurement of that. I'm just talking about a dip angle. But their dip angle that they're measuring only corresponds to their elevation above zero mean sea level. So it's total and utter nonsense. If you're in an airplane, you're 6 miles above mean sea level. But the horizon is very far away from you. It stretches out. The water, let's say if you're over water, the water stretches out underneath you for ridiculous distances. But you will have a dip angle to the horizon because you're 6 miles above the water. The water and land does not rise up with you just because you decide to go up in an airplane. These people are unbelievable. But that's
delusional, bro.
That was an FE claim for a long time, though, Brian. I used to hear that all the time, like it rise to your eye level stuff.
But it's not.
Maybe it's a middle ground.
Yeah, but that's what happened there is flat out got lazy. The original claim in 2015 was that the horizon always appears to rise to your eye level, and that is true. It always appears to, but you can with instruments, or if you can with certain instruments, you can kind of claim that there is a dip down to the horizon, but it will look like from the observer. Well, I did it myself in an airplane. Either side of the airplane, I go flying across Nevada or wherever it was in the US. Either side of the airplane, the horizon was halfway up the windows. It was up past the tip of the wings. But at the same time, my direct eye line is making a parallel with the ground underneath. So that horizon is actually a slightly dip below my eye line. But because it stretches so far out, that the dip is not noticeable. So it's from just an observer without special equipment or what they would claim they could use like order levels. It's just like it appears to rise to eye level. But people started saying the horizon rises to eye level, and then that statement became untrue because it doesn't. It only appears to do so. Yeah, so that's what it was.
I mean, how the borders can't see Ranty's. I mean, he says he doesn't believe in the moon landings. Everything else he doesn't agree with. But he says once you understand that this is drop, he says everything else will fall into place, like gravity and space. I'm trying to think. Man, I couldn't even argue with him on this. I'm thinking, how on earth will this image equate to the rest of the entire Earth that we live on?
Earth.
Right.
But the model isn't based on what the horizon isn't based on drop, so-called. It's based on the geometric nature of the world, the globe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the model is based on. Not, well, here's this effect that we see. What's going on here? Oh, it's drop. Therefore, nobody's going to be using that in their calculations. They're going to say, no, well, this is what it is, mathematically speaking. So if you're going to say there's drop, are you going to equally say, well, there's a geometric horizon?
No, he wouldn't argue. This is the point. This is what was happening, Elijah, because this is the point. I said that with the black swan, we can apply that even in your image, Blackpool. So this is something that happens on every horizon, the black swan. That's how powerful the black swan is. It's shown us that the horizon is not physical. It fluctuates all over the place. So therefore, we cannot draw a tangent to it, and we can't have geometry with it. So I'm trying to explain this to Ranty, like not trying to get into a big argument with him, but just like you can't trump the black swan because there's no geometry. And then I said you can't compare your picture. It doesn't happen everywhere. You've got one anomaly, and you're about to put your entire paradigm based on one image. It's I can't argue. If that's your opinion, that's good luck kind of thing, So it's very peculiar.
Well, their
If there's a
argument
drop,
is
right? They say there's a drop, right? In their water, in their fantasy, right? How about if you have two boats? I repeat this again. Is there two drops between them? Are you guys not seeing this
Oh yeah,
paradox?
I know exactly the argument you're making, as SE, and it's one that they can't. They have to either. It depends on the observation they get. They either assert that there's drop or there's a hump. They keep on asserting one or the other. If you're standing on a ball and everything is relative, then there was always only going to be drop in all directions. There's never going to be a hump up in your view. But they'll choose one from the other, whatever suits them at the time.
Well, how I put it to them was a lake 10 miles across and you've got an observer north, south, east and west at the shore. Are they all seeing a drop into the center of the lake?
Brian is getting it now. Exactly. What happens with different observers?
It's ludicrous. You'd have
It's
a 16-foot
insanity.
dip in the middle.
Yep.
It just does
Or
not work.
Is there a hump? Yeah.
But you know this claim of drop that they have with this photograph, for instance, right? And this claim of drop. Drop, it's visible drop. Now, I gave Ranty showed him two optical effects that both individually work to give this effect. And I showed them to him. He can't deny him. He can't debunk them, right? What we're seeing is drop. Drop has nothing to do. Drop doesn't disprove the flat Earth, and it certainly doesn't prove the globe. Because what they need is curve, not drop. Drop is elevation. They need curve. We're seeing visible drop, visual drop. There's no geometric horizon. There's no measurements of curve. There's no water bending anywhere. There's no proof of anything that can bend water or conform it to the outside of a shape. It's complete and utter nonsense. Their claim of drop means that they don't understand visual effects. That's all it is, isn't it?
And he's wondering why no one's debating him on this point. I mean, what flat earther was going to argue? Well, I know you did. I was wondering why, but he's not going to get the response from the flat earth I think that he's looking for, which is a debate or an explanation on why he thinks there's a drop. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, but what's drop? I mean, drop is what? It's visual drop. I mean, I myself have some observations I've taken. I'm going to be coming out with them soon that show visual drop. But I'll prove with these observations that it can't be anything to do with the globe Earth.
Would drop be elevation change?
Well, it's a
visual.
visual thing. It's a thing called visual occultation, also known called photographic occultation, and optical drop. Something me and Flatside have been shown, and other people. It's an optical drop. The first person to show
the optical effect. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they have this idea of how perspective should work on a flat plane, and that's it. And they won't go outside of it. So Ranty has that same idea, so he doesn't understand it's a visual thing. He can't seem to get it. It's to do with angles. If you try to look over the top of Blackpool Tower from the position of the cameraman, right? Blackpool Tower, is about 500 foot above your head, right? And it's only 12 miles away. And there's mountains that are 50 miles away that only have a slightly bigger angular size than Blackpool Tower. So if you try and look over the top of Blackpool Tower to see another 30 to almost 40 miles past Blackpool Tower to see the top of a mountain that's only slightly bigger in angular size, you're not going to see it. Your angle is going to look up at the sky. That's how you're going to be seen. So if you want to see the mountains, you're not going to be trying to look up over the top of Blackpool Tower. You're going to look past Blackpool Tower to see it. It's very simple. You know what I mean? It's just that's the way perspective is. But they wanted look. When I went through it during the debate with Ranty, when you do the curve calculations and then do the angular size change for what would be visible above the geometric horizon of Dow Craig, right? It actually ends up being lower than half the height of the tower. It's way down. That's their. So how can they claim globe proof or flat out debunked? They can't claim any of it with it. Their own model is a million miles out. And as Adam Meakin made the point, all the mountains are at different distances. So they're all going to have different. They're all going to look all weird and have different angular sizes, and all the land between us or the observer and the final mountain peaks all different gradients of angular size change because they're all at all different distances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like see something, claim that can't work on a flat Earth because we don't know what we're talking about, and we won't open our minds and just claim globe. That's all that's going on with the people.
Most of the time, absolutely, absolutely.
And your debate with Ranty.
Broke up, Brandon.
Yeah, you broke up, Brandon.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Looks like we're having some issues on
Can hear you
my
now.
end. How do you
You're
think
good,
the
we
debate
hear
went,
you.
Brian? Breaking up again?
You'd have to go again. You'd have to go again because people talk. So I didn't hear you.
How did you think the debate went, Brian?
Well, I'm not going to. I put it this way. I'm not going to say what happened in it. Like if you read the comments underneath the video, it's all ballers, with exception of one or two flat earthers who actually did throw in some sense. But all the rest of the ballers are, I got destroyed, I got destroyed, I got destroyed. And what I heard on Discord is ballers basically telling flat earthers who haven't even watched the thing that Ranty destroyed me. When the ballers who are saying that hadn't even watched it, it's just they're going to say that. They're going to say that because Ranty's on their side, so they want to say they're going to say that happened without them ever watching it. They want to turn anyone who, like a flat earther's not going to watch it. They think that a flat earther got destroyed. So I'm not going to say either way. But if you listen to it, you know, I have nothing to hide. I'll put it that way.
Okay. All right. I didn't get a chance to
Where
watch it
can we-
because obviously it was the same time as this. I haven't done it yet, but
Literally, no matter who debates anywhere ever, they say the Glover won, no matter what happens. So.
yeah, of course.
you saw Witsit versus Skeptic Denk, right? I don't
Who
know how anyone who's watching that can say, yeah, Skeptic Denk bodied.
Elijah, your mic's a little low.
Yeah, I don't know what to
There
do
you go.
about that.
That's good. No,
The
that
guy
was
with
better.
the beard
But-
you're talking about, Elijah?
Witsit versus Skeptic Denk on McToons. He debated him on McToons' channel. And
The guy with the beard.
did he have it? Yeah, right. Because I watch YouTube.
Oh,
you
that
know,
was
with
beyond
my
funny,
phone.
man.
But it's like,
QE
yo,
That was beyond funny.
yeah, he
I
wrecked
was
him.
howling.
But all of the ballers are like, yeah, man, Witsit doesn't know he's talking. It's just
Oh,
a
no.
fucking, it's just a
Witsit's-
cacophony of just insult after insult after insult in the comment section. It's amazing to watch, actually.
Yeah, first of all, Witsit is smoother than Michael before the fake nose. Second of all, that guy was getting QE sent me a DM. That guy was getting spoon-fed info as the debate was happening. So, I mean, who even heard of that guy? Where'd that guy even come from? I never heard of Septic Dank. I thought it was Septic, Team Skeptic at first.
That was the funniest, most comical debate I've ever seen. Everybody should see that.
I guess he was like a high level Patreon of that McLooney Tune, who was requested that he wanted to debate Flat Earther.
I'm wondering who was spoon feeding him info during the debate. Did you guys hear it? Maybe you guys didn't hear it. He's getting fed information.
That was a classic debate. Absolutely ruined that globe earther. I mean, they can sense it. They know when they've, embarrassed themselves, and that was a total wreck by that glober. He didn't know what the radius was. He didn't know how to make measurement. It was just an absolute joke.
Just a little bit of education, and you have to be at least someone you could have a conversation with. Like if they just went to high school or just completed high school.
All right, guys. Well, that lulls a good opportunity to open it back up to our Ball Earth friends. So
Here we go. You better take your fucking headache medicine.
Yep. Pop your Tylenol, crack your beer.
It's
whatever you
Wednesday.
gotta
I
do.
forgot.
Floor is open.
Globers, are they still a thing? Are they still around? People still actually believe the ball is the Earth is a ball, and they're spinning around in space. Is that still a thing today?
In some circles.
Tell us how water isn't level or something dumb like that.
Did you say in some circles?
Yep.
Brandon,
They believe that it's corkscrewing through endless void of nothingness that is ever expanding and started from a minuscule point and expanded into everything. It's really weird.
Thanks,
religion.
Catholic Church.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be deep into it to understand and believe it, but a lot of people out there fall into it. Sad.
Who claim to be radical atheist social justice warriors, at the same time completely using a Catholic cosmology.
Oh, guys,
Shut up,
where's
the
Wally
Metro.
wanted to let us know SN15 is about to launch. Who's excited?
Oh, very. I've just sent you, Brandon, the video of Whitsit with the audio. I tried to put it in Discord, but it's too big. But I've sent it you in Skype.
Okay.
Want to share it? It's there.
Why
It's
that
with
guy?
Riley's magnified the background mic so you can hear the feed he's getting. The difficult question.
Oh, where he's getting spoon-fed info? Yeah. Brandon, what were you talking about?
Right.
SNL with Musk?
Well, I heard about that. Elon Musk going to be on SNL. And,
Yeah, I sold over $2,000 worth of Doge today. That shit's way up.
oh, dude, there's like a cult around that guy, man.
I
don't
still
know
got
what
more,
the
but
fuck is going on? But like, the people follow him, and everything he tweets turns into a fucking crypto coin, and people go crazy. It's weird shit, man.
yeah. But yeah, that video that Adam sent you is fucking good. It's you can hear the guy feeding him the info as it's happening.
I'm trying to open it right now. Skype crashed on me, but yeah, I'll play it. Unfortunately,
Oh, you mean
guys won't
play
be
it
able to-
now? We can hear it. Cool.
I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. I'll try. Because of the way I have things set
Discord, the
up.
audio on Discord's fucked up. Yeah.
If
So yeah, I mean, so it was essentially 2 versus 1, which it still killed them both. Whoever the other fucking Glober was.
Yeah, I never heard
I mean,
of that
that's
guy
what-
either. Skeptic Dank.
This is the reason. This is the reason why the scientists won't come forward, like the top scientists. You know, the Neil deGrasse's, Brian Cox, because they'd end up just like that. You know, having to explain, well, where's your experiments? Where's your physical right? You know, all these things. He just got absolutely annihilated by Whitsit. I was laughing the entire. It was like comedy watching him just stumble and fumble and.
Are we open yet? The thing is, these guys disown half of the shit the Neil deGrasse's and Brian Cox's say, because they're going with the standard globe rhetoric, and the Globers can't go with that because that's where we'll crush them.
They have to.
The dark
They
matter,
have to
dark
disown
energy.
them. Yep.
Hey, I got a $5
That
super
stuff is
chat from
flat.
Godzilla. He says, "Remember Ranty? He was fun. Too bad he's irrelevant now." Shout out retracted. Thanks, Godzilla. Appreciate that. This thing's about 45 seconds. I'm just gonna go on mute real quick and play this video for the audience since we brought it up. I'll be right back. Hopefully the audio is coming through. I don't think it is. Shit. Nothing ever works like I want it to. Never mind. Alright, I'm back. Didn't work. It's all fucked up.
What the word is on that video, if you listen earlier in the debate, there is someone with Whitsit talking in the background. And the audio that they captured was actually that individual arbitrarily answering those questions. And the voice, the mystery voice, actually came from Whitsit's mic feed. But QE and Sleeping Warrior have turned that audio up. And then also, if you'll notice, when you hear that second answer fed, like 250 miles or whatever it was he said, Skeptic Dank did not actually respond with the answer that the guy said, supposedly said. So that that's probably going to come out pretty quick.
All right. Did he give the right answer?
Yeah, the guy was. I mean, they were simple. It was like questions about the distance to the horizon. What's 1 times 1.22 and things like that. But
why would it be someone in well, okay, matter of fact, forget asking why. How do you know again that it came from Witsit's feed?
Yeah, that's pretty straight information, and I don't want to say anything else about it. I don't know if I'd be stepping on someone's toes.
You are making the claim.
But the word is that the audio from the mystery voice came from Witsit's mic.
But that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that was. Well, it was just the guy.
So far, it's your word, Howard.
No, Left Lane. Toon thought it was Bob in the background, and then Witsit showed who it was, and he made a huge error. So it wasn't Witsit that was getting fed; it was the other guy.
Logically,
No,
Chemo, why would you want your why would you need feeding the answer to your own question?
No,
Right,
it wasn't feeding him. It wasn't feeding him. The guy just audibly answered the question arbitrarily in the background, and Witsit's mic picked it up.
In Tourette's, a bloke with Tourette's in the background, just suddenly at the same time that Hairy Jesus couldn't answer questions, this guy's Tourette's kicked in.
Hairy Jesus.
I could be 110% wrong, but just wait and see what comes out.
You are, Howard. The actual, when he was asked the question by Witsit, the answer came out, and it didn't come out from the guy with the beard. It didn't come out from MC Toon that time. It came out from someone else, and that's why.
Yeah, it came from Witsit's mic. But why? Who
spoke it then? Who spoke the answer was the answer to Witsit. Who spoke it? How do you know it came from Witsit's mic? Witsit's mic when your man Dank was actually looking down, listening, looking down.
Shut up! I'd answer you.
You have zero. You're making a lie.
No, I'm not. That's information. That's information. And I said,
let him answer.
Let
him answer. Go ahead, Left Lane.
God dang. Like I said, I could be 110% wrong, but that's information that'll be, to follow. But the thing is, Skeptic Dank did not actually give the answer that was supposed to be given to him. He was silent.
Because he couldn't hear it. He didn't hear it.
Well, that's what you do.
Oh, we could hear it, but he couldn't hear it. That makes sense, don't it?
Anthony Riley turned it up 400%. That's why we could hear
it. Anthony Riley's been known to falsify crap too. I'm just saying that's the information that I got.
Can you support that? That's another thing.
It'll come out.
There you go.
Just pay attention. Just pay attention.
Yet none of this is supported by your side. You're always making claims about us. We can never support anything.
Right, and that's the repetition from the last time this event happened, where the ballers were caught out cheating. Yeah, they tried to put the audio capture. Remember, audio guy, that honest gentleman.
Sure.
That you all know about. He was the guy that proved it last time that it wasn't the ballers being disingenuous, it was us flat earthers. So, like I said, outside of that, there is the logic, like I said, unless there's somebody with Witsit that desperately had to answer the question what 1 times 1.1225 was, couldn't contain himself because it would show how smart he was. He had to ejaculate in that room there and then. Then I don't think that fits the situation. I think it's more likely the other explanation.
But and here's my position. I don't care if that Skeptic Dank was actually being fed information, bust his ass. It's wrong. It's cheating. Absolutely bust his ass. I'm just saying what I found out about
it. This is fun to try to bust somebody doing this and kick this around, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a distraction. I mean, I guess
all the globalists cheat. They haven't done any of this stuff. They just regurgitate Wikipedia, YouTube.
Yeah, good
You know,
point.
so in a sense, it's not like you said, I actually did this. Like, I actually went to the moon and I took a picture. No, they just copied someone else's work.
You know what one of the funniest things was that I've heard is that guy Danny Faulkner when he said, if you're going on the internet and trying to find answers to debunk the flat earthers, you're going to the wrong place. And then when someone asked him, how do you have gas pressure without a container? He went to the internet, to Big Blue, Blue Marble, to get the answer to debunk this. Fucking hilarious.
With two containers, by the way.
Yeah, I mean that the whole thing was ridiculous. But the point is, he went right to the internet to find the answers to try to debunk flat Earth. He's like, I got all the answers.
All these top scientists, Neil deGrasse Tyson, all these big wigs, they can't defend their model in a proper debate if their life depended on it. Any one of us here will tear them to shreds. Any one of us.
I would love to see a proper debate between Neil deGrasse Tyson and, say, someone who is really on top of their shit. Maybe, let me think who.
Anybody would take Neil deGrasse Tyson. You could probably take him. Chemo, me, anyone. Adam Eakins, anyone could take him. Because he sticks to the rhetoric. And these globers in this arena, they can't follow that rhetoric because we kill them.
I'd actually want Anthony Riley on that.
Yeah, Riley. I mean, you could put anyone on it.
That'd be pretty
Come
good.
on, bring
actually.
someone.
I'll give Anthony that. But also,
Which
QE
it
would
would-
be interesting too. Can you imagine Neil deGrasse Tyson versus QE?
He would demolish him, but
It'd be funny
he
as
would
fuck.
probably curse him out of the studio first. I don't want to.
Yeah, you have to put a muzzle on him. You have to hold him back like that. But QE would be the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Nathan.
Tyson would be.
Nathan would be good as well.
Oakley, Whitsitt. I mean, pick someone. I'll put names in a hat. It doesn't even matter because, any one of us that's been in this arena for long enough that we know what we're doing, and they just wouldn't be able to get us.
So the
they would
challenge
have
is
to,
out
hopefully
there.
they
Big
realize
wigs.
by this point that they would need to prepare like a motherfucker for that debate, and not what's happened in the past where these people have come in and when they first entered the flat Earth arena, just get destroyed because they don't know any of the debates. Even Jem talks about that all the time. That's not a good idea.
It's so
because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It's so funny when a newbie glober comes in and he comes in headstrong and he thinks he's got it, and all the globers in there and Gems will just flat smack him. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it'd be great to have a Tyson be able to ask him, like, so you cannot see curvature from the ground, right? He'd be like, yep, mathematically, break down all the numbers. You would not see the curve from the ground. Then you'd be like, okay, well, thank you.
I would ask
Your
Mr. Neil
movement.
deGrasse Tyson. So, Mr. Tyson, that goal was nice, huh? So I can
I knew you-
recreate it with this ball right here, the soccer ball. Let's try it, me and you now.
I knew you were going to take it there.
Game over. Game
Yeah.
over. Game over, Mr. Tyson.
Yeah, is the Earth spinning under the football or not? We got George Hamilton saying the Earth does spin under the bullet, and the Earth doesn't spin under the bullet. So, I mean,
But what I don't understand, if it's spinning under the football, it's spinning under the air. I don't know how the hell they come up with it's the atmosphere is moving with it. I don't understand that at all.
that's
Delusion.
unprovable.
It's called delusion.
Yeah, that's unprovable that air can rotate with a body. Gas doesn't do that shit.
It just doesn't make any sense. And then when you ask them, can you show me the mechanism by which this is happening? And the best answer
still
that
have
I've
that
gotten
list?
so far, I'm going to dig that list up of responses.
Yeah, that list is fucking great. We spent 2 days collecting those answers.
Oh, because it's just
They
ridiculous.
said flush the toilet, would stick your hand out the window. I don't know. Just there were some ridiculous ones in there. Definitely, it was a good list.
Here it is. I got it. Something about the air in an airplane. Trash blowing on the side of the road when you pass it in a car. Howard, that was you. Friction. Just the word
I
friction.
remember that one.
Just the word
Just the
friction.
word friction.
Yep, that explained it all. There's a bowl of water. I'll open this up. You guys may remember this. Supposedly this explains this bowl of water with someone sticking their finger in it is an explanation that we received. The words fluid dynamics. The word gravity. Conservation of momentum. Look outside for no wind. Look outside, and if you don't see wind, then you're witnessing the atmosphere moving with the Earth. Himawari 8. And then let me read this one. There aren't 1,000-mile-per-hour winds at the surface. That's the evidence. We know the Earth is spinning, therefore the atmosphere is spinning. It's basic physics. And this is a good one. Let's make it really oversimplified for you. The Earth rotates. Every atom of the gases in the atmosphere that comes in contact with the 1,000-mile-per-hour ground receives a 1,000-mile-per-hour push in the direction of rotation. Those particles then hit other particles and transfer some of that 1,000 miles per hour to the new particles. As the new particles come in contact with the ground, they get a 1,000-mile-per-hour push. This continues over and over again. This constant input of energy in the same direction keeps happening until the atmosphere is in lockstep, at which point the input only maintains the motion already gained, exactly the same as the water in the bowl. Clear things up for you guys there. It goes against all known physics. We can't demonstrate it. If you release a balloon in your car, what does the gas do relative to the car? If you juggle in a moving train, what's pushing the balls you juggle? In an airplane, what's pushing the air along with you? Flush the toilet and watch a turd floating in the water. And the outside of the sphere is interacting with the air around it. And literally more, but so those were all the different evidence that we were provided when we asked for a demonstration or actual scientific evidence for the magic Velcro spinning atmosphere.
Do you know what a boundary layer is? Now, I'm not talking about atmospheric boundary layers. There's a thing called atmospheric boundary layers. If anyone watched my debate with Ranty, I spoke about them. But a boundary layer, when you store a cup of coffee, there's what's known as boundary layer forms around the edge of the cup between the liquid and the surface. And it's like a friction that slows down the coffee, and eventually the coffee stops. The cup is not moving, and the coffee stops spinning, swirling. It just stops, right? That requires a boundary layer. So what they're trying to claim is that there is a boundary layer of friction between the gases, right, between the gases of Earth, right, and a supposedly moving Earth, right? It's absolute, total, and utter nonsense, right? Gases repel in all directions. They don't friction. They don't go along with things. They don't attach themselves to stuff. They try and get away from everything, including each other. Just single entities. Every gas atom is a single entity, and it's trying to get away from every other thing ever. It's not trying to attach itself to something and go along for the ride. It's total, they say simple basic physics. Basic boundary layers are basic physics.
Boundary layer, Brian, is affecting is the gas affecting the behavior of the liquid, the random behavior of all the different random behaving gas molecules, having that effect on the surface and affecting the overall dynamics of the now settling fluid. The reverse, particularly in terms of a ball earth, as most of it's water, the reverse is what they're suggesting, is that the fluid dynamics is, and there's the same interaction involved, being fair. But what they're then suggesting in that description is that the fluid dynamics then somehow, the collision, cause a complete perversion of gas behavior. that all the gas molecules are both simultaneously going in one simultaneous direction, but also colliding off each other randomly. I was traveling in that same simultaneous. It's a paradox again.
Yep. Yep.
It's just.
It's hard to even wrap your mind around it. And, when do we ever see that behavior where a solid is spinning inside a cloud of gas and it causes the cloud of gas to move in lockstep the same
With the
speed,
surface of the
centrifuges?
No matter how far away from the solid,
Centrifuges.
rotate around with it
I
at the
answered.
same exact
I
speed.
answered.
Where do we see that?
I answered.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuges.
Show
yes.
me. Show me.
Yes, no. How did they purify uranium? What do you think it is?
So it's
let's see it.
centrifugal force. Is that what you're claiming now?
Add that
It's
on
a
the list.
centrifuge, no?
Is that what you're
Put
saying?
it on the list.
Centrifuges?
Why is it called?
Can I read?
Centrifuge. If it's not a centrifuge,
Can I read this real quick?
Centrifuge needs a
How
containment.
do they spin the gases inside?
Can I,
What do you think?
can I
You've
read
got no
this?
containment.
A machine with a rapidly rotating container that applies centrifugal force to its content.
It requires the containment to
Yeah.
channel the force. Your ball earth doesn't have containment; everything would fly off.
Oh, they're gonna have gravity when biodual, which is
Thank you,
here.
Chemo.
When biodual here is here right now underneath me. This is everyone meet biodual. This is the man who's going to show for the very first time.
Chemo, I don't know why you have this God complex where there's a conversation going on and you feel the need to disrupt it.
Hey, I've got to give you kudos, Biodual, for partnering up with a flat earther as your scientific partner. I think that's pretty cool, man.
No, he doesn't.
But like I say, all of these questions that we're all confused with, Biodual will be the first person ever to show Cavendish in a vacuum by human eyes.
Chemo, this isn't
he will...
Jem's channel. This isn't your channel. You disrupting the conversation to say a bunch of nonsense.
No, because Adam was saying it doesn't make sense.
Well, respectfully, Chemo, the point I was making was that we appear to have a claim that centrifugal forces are some way applicable to the Earth being a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And the containment of atmosphere.
And its rotation in lockstep with the Earth as well. That's interesting.
Which absolutely demolishes their story.
What you're saying, the atmosphere would fly off the ball, is that what?
I'm saying the thing that seems to support it seems to demolish it. Yeah, it's destroyed by its own logic. Yeah.
Well, Biodual's here. He's a globe earther. He's a man of science, Adam. He can answer all your heliocentric model questions. He's about
I understand
to,
the heliocentric model, Chemo, just like you do. I was a baller, wasn't we? We looked into it properly. That's why we stopped being ballers.
Right. Because there
Don't
was
need
no
education on the ball model. I'm fine there. Thanks.
There was no science bio, but try and explain to these guys. Are you gone shy?
It's not that I'm shy. It's that I'm not trying to derail a conversation that's currently going on.
How does the gas? We're right on topic, Bio. How does the gas stay in lockstep with the surface of Earth?
I've got my keyboard ready, just so you know.
Punch it in. Punch his thing in. He'll probably give one of the other ones. I mean, some of them are classics.
Did you get down the last excuse, Brandon?
Yeah,
Before we
centrifuges.
forget it?
How do they? How do you think they? Oh, I forgot the second part. How do you think they refine uranium?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got
anything for the list?
To it.
Hold on, Crit.
Yeah.
Bio, you got anything for the list, or?
I don't have enough information to answer
Oh
your
no,
question.
shy. In Gems, he knows everything. He's got all the answers to all the heliocentric question.
No, because Chemo, you talk about the same 3 or 4 things, so it's easy to speak on the same 3 or 4 things. This particular question, I don't have enough information to answer. So if I give you an answer, it's going to be out of ignorance, and I'm not going to do that.
I can give an answer out of ignorance. Chemo, you know, to refine uranium, do you just like stick it in a centrifuge, or do you just like bring it to the surface and hope that the rotation of the Earth will somehow refine it for you? Because if it's not that, then it's not really relevant, is it?
No, right.
Yeah, can't you stick it at the equator? Good point there, brother. Can't we just stick it at the equator there? Want to refine there? Good one, bro.
So,
we're waiting for the answer, by the way.
Biodual, if you didn't hear what the question is, we're trying to figure out by what mechanism the atmosphere rotates in lockstep with the Earth. And so far we've gotten a lot of different explanations, but none of them are very satisfying. So maybe you can shed some light on
friction.
Do you want me to give you
explanation.
do you want me to give you an ignorant response, or do you want
No,
me to research
it's
it
fine.
and give you a
Either
proper
one.
response?
Either one.
It's fine. He said he doesn't know, and he'd want to research it, so that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I missed that. I'm
I'd
sorry.
rather know what I'm talking about if I give an answer rather than giving a random answer based on ignorance.
Whoa. Hold on, Boyer. So if you're saying if you get a helicopter, hover it over the Earth doesn't move to the helicopter. Why doesn't that happen?
Oh, that's a fine question. The helicopter has the same
It's in lockstep with the Earth, yes?
it has the same speed as a Earth moving. So
So it's in lockstep with the Earth.
the
Boyer.
net velocity is 0 in that situation.
Yeah, same speed.
Is it because
0.
of the motor? Is it because of the motor that's keeping
No.
it?
It's because of maths.
It's the same reason. It's the same reason when you're standing on top of a car that's moving and you jump that you
So
land.
you
in
in
the same
lockstep
spot.
with it.
It's the same principle. You're just staying there with the net velocity with reference to the thing that you're on being 0. That's all.
It's held there
But
by
what
presuppositional mathematics, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Calculations, yeah.
It's the same
Presuppositions.
principle when you're on top of a car that's moving and you jump. You don't land on the ground. You land on where you jumped from. Now, if you have air resistance, that can change a few things. But the
Oh, well, you're going to stand on top of a car and jump, yeah?
well, let's say it's going 10 miles an hour. That's not
10 miles an hour. I'm happy with you going 10 miles an hour.
Or
you're going to stand at the back of the car, I hope. You know.
Well,
just to be
how about a U-Haul truck or any bigger truck?
fair. No. Come on, stick with the original claim.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Wouldn't it also stand at the back of a car going 10 miles an hour and jump upwards?
Right, you're going to land where you jump from.
How high are you gonna jump?
You
You can jump like
does it matter?
yeah. Fuck yeah, it matters. You're
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
let's
be the
make this
world
real. We
record.
got to speed this car up. We got to make
You're
it
not.
go
You're
like...
not going to be the world
Right, when
record
you
height
speed-
jumper.
When you speed the car up, then you're going to introduce the air resistance, and that'll have something to do with it. That's why I suggested in the back of a like a U-Haul truck. So you're going to eliminate the air resistance on you, and you're just worried about the speed. So you're traveling with the truck at 40 miles an hour. If you're in the back and you jump, you're not going to jump out of the truck. If you jump straight up, you're going to come straight up, and you're going to go straight down. You're granted that.
How about
same
you try it on top of, let's say, those big oil trucks that transport the oil? How about you try it on one of those?
The size
way
of
in
the
the
truck
back.
doesn't matter. It'll be the speed and the air resistance. So if you're in the back of a U-Haul truck, you're not going to have the air resistance affecting anything. So when you jump up, straight up, you're going to jump, or you're going to fall straight down where you jumped from. You're granted that speed regardless.
How about if it turns while you're doing it? How about if it pulls a turn?
Well, yeah, you're introducing something in that situation. I'm not entirely sure. I think if it's constantly turning, I think if it's constantly turning, and then you jump, you're good. But if you're mid-air and then it turns, it's changing its velocity, and you're not granted that change in velocity. So you are going to have an effect from that. But if it's constantly turning at the same rate and you jump,
Do you think
you'll
that,
come
or
straight
do
down.
you know that?
No, if
I
it's
think you gotta
constantly
rethink
turning, you
this,
fly off it.
Wasn't Rumpus
Yeah.
just telling us about if something is what is it called? Not linear motion, the other one.
Angular momentum.
Angular momentum, yeah. At any
Conservation.
point, it can be considered linear. Wasn't he just saying something about that the other night? Do you guys remember that?
That's only because of Globiolis. Brandon.
He's delusional.
The Globiolis.
Yeah. Globiolis.
Where Globiolis, where angular momentum is measured in miles per hour. Yeah, it's total and utter nonsense.
Okay.
BioJude, you do realize? Sorry, Brandon. Sorry. BioJude, you do realize that your claim of the helicopter hovering above the ground is just basically stating that the ground is stationary, and it's debunking the claim of a rotating Earth.
No, because you're still granted, even if it is stationary,
No,
or if it's moving at the same. I'm going to get to the end of my statement.
If the
You asked
ground
me a question,
underneath you
you
is
made a statement.
moving and you're hovering,
You made a statement. I'm going to respond.
and you're hovering.
Is that fair?
Then that would mean that it would move underneath you.
I 100% know what you're saying, and I'm trying to respond. What I'm saying is, whether it's stationary or moving at a constant rate, you're still granted whatever speed that may be, whether it's 0 or if it's 20 miles an hour or if it's 1,000
Why are
on the
you
surface of
granted
the
that?
Earth. You're still granted that speed. So the net velocity.
You're saying who granted me this?
I mean, I could respond. If you don't want me to respond, that's fine.
Let him finish,
I know
Brian.
exactly where you're going. See, what you're trying to do is claim. What you're trying to
I'm
do.
not going to.
Brian, hold on,
Let
Brian.
him answer,
All right,
because,
okay.
he's a kind of an honest baller. Remember, this is the first baller that is going to do science, Cavendish, in a vacuum, never seen before. And remember the name, BioJules. So kind of give him a chance.
It's not even about that, Chemo. So anyway, whether you're stationary, like in a stationary car, and you jump, you're going to jump straight up, straight down. If you're on a moving car, 10 miles an hour, you jump up, you're going to fall straight down. It doesn't matter. You're granted whatever that speed is, whether it's 0 or 10, or the surface of the Earth at the equator, 1,000. You're granted that speed. So the net velocity.
Okay, who grants
0,
it
so
and
you're
what
gonna go up,
mechanism?
you're going to go down. That's all.
Well, you're
Who grants
travelling
it to
at the
you and
same
what
speed
mechanism is it,
as
bro?
the vehicle.
Please explain us that.
So, what would be funny is if they slam the brakes on, then you'll see the people flying, it's landing in a different place.
Yeah. So what mechanism by what mechanism, when your Earth ball fantasy is spinning, by what mechanism is your atmosphere held to it? Please explain that.
And as I've already said, your specific question, I don't have the proper information or confidence in the information to present anything to your specific question.
Wow, that's the first honest answer I've ever heard any baller say. Thank you, sir.
But Jude, I understand that I was kind of hounding you a few minutes ago, because I know your answers. You see, what you basically have to do, right? I'm not attacking you personally on this, okay? But what you basically have to do, if you believe in the globe Earth, is you have to basically state that you will be stationary and the ground will be stationary. That's basically what you have to state, which is what we see. So what we see is stationary. And you're telling us the ground will be stationary. You lift up in a helicopter or you lift up a drone and the ground under you won't rotate away. So what you're stating is a stationary Earth. But
so
you have to do a lot of complex stuff that involves an atmosphere. Sorry, there you go, atmosphere. But it involves air supposedly creating a boundary layer between itself and the surface of the Earth and being pulled around with the surface of the Earth. You know, you have to create all this nonsense that there was no evidence for. That's not how gas behaves. So what you're doing is basically speaking about the delta X argument. When you're saying that I'm granted so much, if I jump in the air, up in the air, I'm granted that same angular momentum. But the angular momentum debunks the Coriolis effect. The Coriolis effect was the original claim that was supposed to prove that the Earth was rotating. But as soon as airplanes come along, they had to change the rhetoric, because airplanes and helicopters, they didn't experience this. So suddenly, all they knew they saw moving was the sky.
Who told you
So
they
you're
don't
in a
experience
position,
it?
you're in a tricky position, you know.
Planes
when
do
you're trying to
experience
defend
it with the Atmos effect. So
no, they don't.
To address your earlier points,
Hang on, you just said, hang on, no, you just said, you just said a minute ago that helicopters would stay stationary. So
yes,
now
they have
planes
a net
rotate
yes.
underneath the plane, but not underneath the helicopter.
So
do you understand?
So
That's contradiction straight away.
You made like 8 points, and I let you finish all 8 of them, and I said 4
I didn't
words.
make 8 points. I didn't make 8 points. I just clarified the situation.
I'm gonna address the beginning points that you had, and you can fight whatever straw man you'd like. And I'll be honest with you. Yes, when I look out, I observe stationary Earth. That's fine. That's what I observe. But I observe a lot of things that
Hey,
aren't true.
Biodealer, you didn't answer. You didn't answer.
Hold on, Data.
I observe my nails and my hair not growing. That's what I observe. But I know that that's not true because we can measure it over time. We can do things to verify the what we observe to be true or not. So yes, we observe a stationary Earth, but that's not what we measure.
Okay, so
that's not
Biodealer,
the
when I
effect that
asked
we
you,
have.
when I asked you,
hold on, Data.
Well, Data.
No, that's good.
He's double speaking now because I have you on record. When I asked you if you're in an aircraft, do you observe an extended stationary plane with elevation profiles? You said no. And now you're saying you do observe an extended plane. Is that correct?
I mean, they can't help but to double speak, guys. Let's be honest. You know, the situation they're in, they don't have really a lot of options.
It's staple food, Jeremy. Staple.
Where's Aaron? Where's Aaron at? He thinks that the cones disprove the ball Earth. He said that yesterday. You guys know where he is?
Aaron who?
What did he say? Say that again.
Aaron.
So as objects move away from you, they doesn't matter what it is, they'll always appear to go into the center of the cone of your eye. Doesn't matter what it is, regardless of the shape you're looking at, the distance of something. If you move away or close to it, it will open convergence or close convergence, if you will. And it will all, based on vision, it will always do that. And part of the globe argument in their orthographic calculation of Earth curvature doesn't add that calculation in. The effect, if you will, the perspective effect, if you will. We all know that. But the point is that yesterday we were talking about it, and he said, oh, that's it. It looks like the cones are the ones that disprove the ball. So it just sounded like a Glober's response, that's all. I just wonder where he's at today.
I'm not sure. I hear kids in the background. You hanging out with your great-grandkids tonight or something?
No, just at the park here.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to get that adrenochrome.
Oh, that's right. He's supposed to bring it the next meeting. Okay. $5 super chat. Earth is life, aka B-ball for life. Seems like flat earthers are content with being clueless about everything. Does it? Because we spend a lot of time talking about shit and looking for evidence and picking shit apart. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you got the right read on this here, B-ball.
Why doesn't B-ball come on and tell? Oh, go ahead, Essay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Jeremy, this is the same gentleman that measured 16 miles of water with an auto level. Let's keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, I mean it's fucking ridiculous. Why doesn't B-ball come on and tell us how the mechanism for how the air moves in lockstep with the spinning ball Earth?
Jeremy, Ed just posted the video. You might want to look, or actually you don't want to look at it.
Is it the answer to the question I just asked?
Yes.
Oh, what is it?
It should be good.
Well, he can come on and tell us.
Friction.
There you go. We already had that on the we already had that.
See, Jeremy, they're afraid. Well, Bio here.
Did you watch the video?
Bio's afraid to say gravity because he hasn't done his experiment. But I'm telling you,
gravity is real,
Jeremy,
mass attracts mass, but that particular
Jeremy,
question I'm not going to answer.
Jeremy, next week or next month, he's done his experiment, and you ask this question, and he says, "Well, I've got an experiment to show that mass is attracting mass, and gravity is holding down this atmosphere."
No, chemo. So mass attracts mass. Gravity is real, and let's say the experiment goes forward and it shows everything that we already know, such as Blue's experiment with Cavendish. This has nothing to do with how I could explain that specific question about the atmosphere moving with the surface of the Earth. It has nothing to do with that because I'm ignorant on that particular subject, and I'm not going to answer out of ignorance.
Yeah, but in the heliocentric model, the gravity pulls the atmosphere down, giving you atmospheric pressure, which pulls the atmosphere around with the ball. That's
fantastic, chemo. I understand the model, but I couldn't.
I know, it's a fantastic story.
I couldn't carry a conversation about that particular, that specific information. I can't personally carry a conversation, so that's why I don't answer, because I don't have the information.
It's a wise decision, but it's not a very high bar you have to live up to, given the other answers we've gotten, including this one, which I'll play on the screen I'm sharing right now. This is from Ed, I guess. Yep. So there's a top that's levitating. He pulls a bubble around it. He's got some smoke on the bottom. And the top disperses the smoke. And the top is surrounded by smoke inside of a bubble. How does this prove the lockstep atmosphere exactly? Is that smoke?
Keen eye would see that the smoke is swirling around. It's not just
in a contained system.
Is that how the atmosphere is doing?
In a contained system.
Shaky, is that what the atmosphere does? Does the atmosphere do that? And do you know the speed of that smoke once this?
Thanks for proving the dome, Shaky.
Smoke isn't gas, first of all.
Shaky. You've just
That's the
proved
first.
flat Earth. Nice.
The first issue is smoke isn't gas. Okay, for one.
You think the smoke is moving through the gas?
Is smoke gas?
In this listen, I'm asking a question.
Okay.
You think the smoke is moving through the gas that is not moving inside this bubble?
Do I think the smoke is not moving through the gas?
No. Do you think the smoke is moving through the gas? The gas is not moving. Only the smoke is moving in this bubble. Like
Smoke is not gas.
flying
That's what
through
Jeremy
the air.
said.
Flying through the air. This
Hey,
smoke.
it's contained. It ain't flying through nothing.
Plus, it's contained. I mean, the point is,
Air is contained.
Excellent.
the
what happens when
point
the
is
rocket
the smoke
flies through
moving
the
in?
bubble?
Is the smoke moving with lockstep with the object and the thing?
Yeah. What's the wind speed on the surface of this top here? Do you think that it's 0? When this top is spinning in this smoke, you think it's 0?
I mean, yeah. Is it the same at the bottom as it is on the
Of course it's
top?
not.
Because that's what we're.
This
that's what
doesn't
we're
help
looking for.
your situation at all, Shaky.
Yes, it is. It's friction.
No.
Something rotating.
I want to know what happens
Drags the
when
air
the
with
rocket.
him.
Does
Air.
it drag the? Hey, you didn't answer my question. Do you think the wind speed on the surface of this top is 0 as it rotates inside this smoke?
Finally, it will be 0. Yes.
Finally, it will be 0.
Yes, because you have the bubble that is has a friction to it. But if it was the other way, if the bubble was rotating, then yes, it would be 0. Finally.
Okay, so that sounded like you said 2 answers. You said yes, finally, but then you said if the bubble was rotating, it would be 0. So
because
in this setup,
we have
is it
two
0?
surfaces. We have two surfaces. We have the rotating, a floating thing in the middle, and we have the stationary bubble, which also have friction. So it cannot be at 0 because the bubble keeps stopping the air, and the rotating keep rotating the air. But if we had only the bubble rotating, finally the air would have 0 speed against the bubble surface.
So no,
Chucky, just to
your answer is no, that the surface of this top, as it's spinning inside this smoke bubble, is not 0. Is that correct?
Probably not 0.
Okay, thank you.
So, Chucky, do you play?
I was just going to ask something quick, please. Please, Data. I just want to ask, is this somehow representative of the Earth that we dwell atop?
Just show you.
Of course.
Yes.
Spinning tops always represent.
No, it show you can move air with friction even without propellers.
Exactly.
Even
well done, Chuck. Good example.
And
pretty shit example,
and
honestly.
It's an excellent
So
example.
what
It
happens-
Do you
demonstrates
think the
principle
smoke maybe
that
halfway
by
between the
friction you can
surface of the
accelerate
top
air.
and the
It's a fantastic
inside
example.
surface of the bubble, do you think that is rotating at the same speed as the surface of the top?
Irrelevant. The point is...
It is. It's irrelevant because that's what your
You're
model
missing
is,
the
and
point.
that's what we asked for was a demonstration of your model.
You're dodging
Rumpus.
the principle. You're dodging the principle.
No, I'm not dodging
Here,
any principle.
you
I
are
understand the
dodging it.
principle.
You're
I'm
dodging
asking
it. No,
for
no,
a
no,
Sounds like you are,
demonstration
Rumpus.
that proves
You're
what
dodging
you are
the
telling us is
principle.
happening on the
You are
Earth. I'm asking
dodging
you to
the
show us
principle
evidence that the
you are
mechanism is
dodging
taking
the
place.
principle that a rotating object can accelerate air, and that's exactly
not
what the
dodging that principle at all.
You are.
I'm asking you to substantiate your model where it
We already
moves in
know a
lockstep with
rotating
the surface
object.
of a rotating object
do you
within a
accept that
gas cloud.
principle?
That's what I'm asking for.
But do you accept the principle a rotating object will accelerate the air around it?
Of course.
Yeah,
No one's denying friction.
Excellent. Brilliant. So there
But
we go.
Rumpus, if that
All you need to know.
Rumpus, if that top is spinning at 500 RPM, the smoke will never be spinning at 500 RPM. Do you agree with that?
It will eventually.
Is there two different reference frames?
Oh no, I don't think it
Is there
will.
two different reference frames?
Hold on, James. Let Rumpus answer. His
Yeah, it
question,
will.
and we
If
can
the
go.
top, obviously, I mean, it's flinging because it's not got a gravitational attraction. The smoke is flung away from it. And by the way, that's exactly identical to gas molecules.
What do you mean it doesn't have gravitational attraction?
Given enough time,
identical to...
given enough time, the stuff near the top would eventually, the whole thing would start. I mean, you can see it's all starting to spin. That's why it all fills the chamber. And the stuff next to the top would, once the thing starts. I mean, obviously, it's being dragged also by the edge of the bubble. Unlike the Earth, which is separated by, has got a vacuum on the outside. There's no drag on the atmosphere. There is drag here by the surrounding container. So it'll never bring all of the air, smoke in there up to the speed of the top because of the drag of the container.
Rumpus, did you just say
That's
smoke
my
is that?
point.
Hold on, guys.
That
hold
is
on.
my point, Rumpus.
Hold on, did you?
That's my point.
Did
Yeah,
you
but in
say
the Earth,
smoke is that? Hold on, Rumpus.
I asked you, would the top get the smoke to 500 RPM? And you said yes, eventually. And then you double speak and backtrack, and you say no, it won't. Well, we're into it.
Can I just clarify, Rumpus? Let me just
I just want to
clarify
revise
something
that
you
answer.
said,
I admit
please.
that. I'll
Rumpus.
revise that answer.
Rumpus, let me just clarify something you said, please.
Container, and therefore it would not get up to the
I'm
full
next,
speed.
guys.
Well,
Rumpus,
I
can
want
I
you to
just
finish my
clarify
answer,
something?
Jeremy.
I just want to clarify something you said real quick. Did you say smoke is identical to gas?
As regards this principle, yes, it's conceptually the same. Obviously, it's not identical, but as far as this argument is concerned, you get the same effect.
Is there two different reference frames?
So your example doesn't work.
This is an excellent example of demonstrating the principle that a
It's not
rotating
analogous
object
to the
will
Yeah,
Earth.
we don't need
accelerate.
the
It's not
principle
analogous to the
demonstrated of
Earth.
friction.
It's not analogous to the Earth.
It is. We've got a
No, it's
rotating
not.
object accelerating the air. But there's not a vacuum around this object. Okay, I'll
You've
accept
just
that.
admitted it's not analogous
okay,
to
well,
the
it's
Earth.
not, yeah, but the bit in most respects, it is it is analogous. But there is a problem that there's a container here, whereas the Earth is surrounded by a vacuum that has no drag.
That's one problem.
No, Rumpus, it's a false equivalency demonstration that's based on the delta X argument. You have to prove the Earth is rotating first before you can even start talking.
No. That's not what you
That's the
asked for.
starting point.
No, that's not what you asked.
That's
You
easy to
said, how can rotating
Yeah, but you
Earth?
didn't prove it.
It
Doesn't matter.
suppose-
This is a false equivalency demonstration.
No,
It's
you
not
asked
analogous
how
to
can the Earth.
It's
You
not.
asked how the
It's
Earth
smoke-
can rotate
it's smoke that's
the air.
contained inside something. It's a condensed amount of smoke contained inside something with something inside of it spinning. You're going to create a spinning effect in there. Take away the containment and put air in there or gas, right? And no containment. What's going to happen? Nothing. The gas is going to behave like gas.
If you remove that container, it would fling the smoke out at tangents. But the point is, the Earth has gravitational attraction. Gas has weight. Gas has weight, so we know that gas is attracted to the Earth, and that's what keeps it stuck to the Earth.
That's a claim. That's a claim of a cause of weight, Rumpus. You're claiming that the weight is caused by this gravitational force that was thrown out the window in 1915.
We know that gas has weight,
That was
so
thrown
we
out
know
the
that it's
window
being
in
attracted to the
1915
Earth.
by
We know gas has weight in a container.
Hold on, I
No,
want to
no,
ask
no,
one
we know that
question
gas
before
has
you go
weight.
on to another topic. Let me just
Go
ask
ahead,
one
Sam.
question, okay?
Go ahead.
Within this excellent experiment, Rumpus, if the top is demonstrating the Earth and the smoke is the atmosphere, when you're standing on the top in the experiment or somebody else is in the atmosphere, is there two different reference frames? Are you spinning
Well, no,
faster
if you're
when you're on
moving,
the top?
if you were a little molecule on the surface of the spinning top, then you're in the same reference frame as the spinning top. And
But as soon as you leave the top,
well, you would have a different the angular velocity
Enough
would
said.
the angle. I mean, just for instance, the atmosphere.
Thank you, Rumpus.
Okay, fine, great. Glad you like your answer. Great. So the point is, the differences between this example, great example here that demonstrates that gas can be accelerated by friction, and the Earth, two differences. One is that the top does not have a gravitational attraction sufficient to attract the gas in there, and the other thing is it's surrounded by something that causes drag. So there's but the principle, the important principle that was being denied by most people on this panel was that a rotating object would accelerate the atmosphere or accelerate gas. So that was the problem that Chike was addressing, was that you weren't accepting.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. You're talking bullshit right now. So let me ask you a question. Where can I see this mechanism take place? What is the physical mechanism by which the Earth drags along the atmosphere?
You can see it there.
No. On Earth with the atmosphere. Where can I see it?
You see it
anywhere you go outside.
Oh, tell me what I'm looking for. I'm outside right now. I'm looking around. What am I looking for?
No
wind. Well, we know
no
that the
wind.
Earth's rotating. We know that the Earth's rotating.
Yes, there we go.
We know that the Earth is rotating. We've got many
Step
many
one,
ways of demonstrating
you're on a ball.
Right. So, yes, we can demonstrate that. We can demonstrate the Earth's rotating. Very easy.
No, you can
Bob
demonstrate
Nodell.
that you're
Bob
begging the
Nodell
question
did,
that is rotating.
and Foucault's pendulum and all sorts of other things demonstrate the Earth's rotating.
Well, you
so
have
that's
to just
and if we know that the Earth is rotating, we know that the velocity of the equator, because the radius has got to be, and from the angular speed we know, therefore we know the speed of the equator has to be 1,000 miles an hour. If there's no wind at the equator on a still day, therefore the atmosphere has to be moving at 1,000 miles an hour. It's really, really easy.
We already have all this bullshit on the list.
It's as simple as this.
Yeah, it's science, Jeremy. We should be accepting it instead of just dismissing it. You should try taking on board a bit of science for once.
It's pseudoscience. We've debunked all half the shit you
I've just given you a 3-layered explanation of it all. And if you can't understand that, then I'm afraid you're just a bit stupid.
The question. Care to respond to that?
No, I'm not begging any questions. We can prove the
Begging the
rotation of the
question.
Earth.
You're saying we
can
know the
prove
Earth
the
rotates,
radius
so
of the
then
Earth.
blah,
Therefore,
blah,
we know
blah,
the
blah,
velocity at the radius of
You have
the
not proven
equator,
without
and there's
rotation.
no wind there
Your-
sometimes, which means the atmosphere has to be going at the same speed. It's
Your
really
claim
easy.
of proof your claim of proof of the pendulum, the out rotating underneath the pendulum, is debunked by what Biojules said, by the fact that the helicopter will stay stationary.
That means it's moving at the same speed. When you're on a train, Brian, when you're on a train traveling at, say, or an aeroplane, just listen, try listening for once, try listening. If you're on an aeroplane, Brian, that's traveling at 500 miles an hour, and you jump up, do you come back down in the same spot? Do you come back, if you jump up in an aeroplane, Brian, do you land in the same spot? Do you land in the same spot, Brian? Do you land in the same spot if you jump up in a train or an aeroplane?
Yes, to Rumpus.
Right. So you've got a moving object, and you do not lose that speed, and that's exactly what's happening to the helicopter. It starts off with a velocity on the surface of the Earth, and therefore when it goes up, it's still got the same velocity. So great, well done. You've just demonstrated, you've just invalidated your own stupid argument. Well done.
If I jump up in the air now, will the ground rotate from underneath me?
No, because you've got a velocity of the ground, just like in a train. It's just like a train, Brian.
No, it's not.
Try and expand your brain. Try and think about being on a train.
You're inside of a train.
Guys, we can't hear what's going on. One at a time, please. One at a time.
Rumpus, hey Rumpus, I'm on a merry-go-round. Hey Rumpus, I'm on a merry-go-round, and I jump up on the merry-go-round. Is the ground going to rotate under my feet?
Well, that's different because that's traveling in.
Okay.
Listen, yeah, it's okay. If you're happy already, no, great, okay. You obviously don't understand the difference between rotational movement versus acceleration, and on a train where it's linear and therefore there's no acceleration.
Here's what
you
we
are
can
a
see.
moron if you can't
Here's
see
what can we
those two
see.
things are different.
Here's what we can see, Rumpus.
Remember, this is the guy who doesn't know what acceleration is. This is the guy who, when asked what acceleration
Rumpus, shut the hell up.
did
Let him
not
respond.
know.
Here's
Hold
what
on,
we can
he doesn't know what
observe.
acceleration was.
No, now you're just going off and calling him an idiot.
We can observe
He
too.
doesn't know what acceleration is, and that's why he thinks
We
the
can
merry-go-round
observe.
is
We can
equivalent to
observe.
a train. There
We
is
can
no
observe.
acceleration in a train. There
Let me
is
know your
acceleration on a merry-go-round.
Rumpus, come on, Rumpus.
Yeah, but he doesn't know the difference. I mean,
So-
thinking most
Just let him
most of the people
respond.
on the panel know the difference between
Let
the
him
merry-go-round.
respond.
Come on.
We're on a
What a
non-inertial
moron.
rotating. We're on a
He's the most stupid person on the panel, I think.
Let him fucking respond. Jesus.
We're on a non-inertial rotating
He
body.
asked me a question
right?
about it, and he wouldn't let me finish the answer.
All right, we don't need to talk about it anymore. Go ahead, Data.
So we're on this merry-go-round and we jump up and down. We are going to have the ground rotate underneath our feet. We can
Because
observe
there's
that,
acceleration on a merry-go-round.
right? But we can't observe it in reality here because why, Rumpus?
Yes, you can. If you drop a thing from a tower 100 meters high, it doesn't
okay.
land at the bottom, and that's because there's a different different
Right.
velocity
Yes,
at the
it does
top.
land at the bottom.
You keep on
Okay.
saying right,
That's a lie.
Data, as though
So
if you
what's
keep
the
on
shape?
saying right, there's a twattish thing to say. It means you're just being disingenuous because you're obviously not agreeing with me, or you are understanding it. If you understand, then shut up and listen and learn. If you don't agree with it, don't keep on saying right in a sarcastic manner.
If there's
So
a
toss away to
deviation,
the twit.
there should be a deviation when I jump up in the air now.
It's so small you wouldn't notice.
I can jump
It's negligible.
Brian, we can measure this. If you drop something from 100 meters, Brian, we can measure that. Brian, we can measure that. If you do it from 100 meters in a vacuum, we can measure this. And this is done in a tower in Bremen by dropping things in this tower, and this is a measured effect. It's one of the proofs that the Earth is rotating, and you're a moron. I've told you this, and you've even demonstrated you don't understand the jumping up and down.
Guys,
Yeah, well, this guy, I mean, Brian cannot exchange. He's incapable of
Rumpus,
taking
you got no
turns.
room to talk, dude.
I have. No, the guy specializes in over-talking people. You specialize in over-talking people. I
The
have to say
tactic
that.
is named
This
after
guy's
you,
not.
Rumpus.
Sorry?
Literally, you are named for this.
Yeah, but that's just Nathan Oakley being a wanker. I mean, surely you don't have any respect for that.
There's
guy.
a reason it was adopted by everyone, Rumpus.
No, it's just you're just following. I mean, come on. Nathan Oakley is one of the most obnoxious morons and an idiotic morons going. You really don't
Okay.
want to
All
associate
right.
Brandon. Really, don't do
Rumpus.
that. That's
Rumpus,
beneath you.
are you willing to answer questions?
Yeah, if you
Our
allow
gas
me to
molecule,
answer
our
it, are you
gas
going to allow me
atoms,
to, Brian? Are
our
you going to
gas
allow me the
atoms,
time to
our
answer
gas
it?
atoms,
I will
Is it gonna
answer your
take you an
question
hour?
if you allow me the
Our
time
gas
to
atoms,
answer it. Are you going to do that?
individual
Are you
entities.
going to give me time to
Our
answer your
gas
question?
atoms, individual
Are you
entities.
going to give me time to answer your question?
Are you going to answer that question?
I will
Did you
answer
hear
it
it?
if
Do I
you
have
give
to
me
repeat
time to
it?
do so. Do you promise to give me the
So
time to
simple, yes or
answer
no?
it?
Yes or
Do
no?
you
Our
give
gas
me the
atoms, individual
promise
entities.
that you will allow
Yes,
me to
off you go,
answer it without
answer it.
over-talking me?
Guys, this is
Rumpus.
really interesting and all, but could you just get
Yeah,
to
I
the
know,
question?
but Brian, you see, he won't. He will always overtalk. He will never
Off you
allow
go.
the person to give an answer.
I'm telling you to go. Why aren't you answering? I'm
So
not
let him
saying
ask
answer.
it, and then
Yeah, but
ask him if
I
he will
guarantee he'll
allow.
interrupt me. Okay, well, try you, Brian. See if you interrupt me. Go ahead.
Holy shit.
So do you want me to ask you the question?
Yeah, go and ask the question, but I'm
Okay.
going to guarantee you'll
Our
interrupt my
gas-
answer.
Okay, well, so you're not allowing me to answer, even ask the question.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, well, be quiet then. Maybe shut the fuck up and you'll hear it.
I'm just predicting what you're going to do.
Rumpus, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. Are gas atoms individual entities?
Yes, gas atoms are individual entities, yes.
And do gas atoms repel from all things, including each other, at all times?
No, they collide with one another. They don't repel
So
when
they-
they're not in collision.
So they do. So there is no such thing as elastic collisions.
The elastic collisions, yes.
So gas does not repel from all surfaces, including each other.
Right, listen to what I said. I said they don't repel one another. And you see, you interrupted me again. You see, you did it again, didn't you?
So when
You
they
did
collide,
it
what
again.
happens after they
You
collide
couldn't
then?
stop
After
yourself.
they
You
collide, what
couldn't
happens
let
then?
me give you an answer, could you?
No,
So here we go. See, you won't let me give you an answer.
Can you
You
get your
see what
mouth
this is
out
like,
of your
Charlie?
mouth?
You see what this is like? You see, you cannot interact with this guy.
Guys.
He will not let me answer.
Brian, let him answer.
We heard you, Rumpus.
Just let him
But I
answer.
give the
As bad as
answer. No,
each
I
other.
haven't been able to give the
After they
answer.
collide, what
I
happens?
have
That's my
not been able to
question.
give the answer. Can I
Okay,
give
just
the
wait
answer?
till he's done.
5
Wait till he's
seconds.
done.
5 seconds, and then he can have his turn. Unless they're in collision with another gas molecule or surface, they are not repelling. Go ahead.
Brian?
Go ahead, Brian.
Sorry. So after collision, what happens, Rumpus?
Will they then travel, and they will then collide with something else eventually?
Why would they move though? If you said they're colliding, so they're not repelling, they're just colliding, and that's it.
Yeah, so when something collides, it bounces off the thing it collides with and then goes off in a different direction, yes.
Would we call that
So they're
repelling?
repelling from each other, and
I said that during collision you can regard as repelling, but when they're not in collision, they're not
when are they
repelling.
not colliding?
How difficult is this to get through to you? My God, you're a
No,
moron!
no. Okay, leave me answer the next question. When are they not colliding?
When they're in what's called the mean free path of an atom, it's not in collision with anything, and that is a very long period. The ideal formula for gases relies on the fact that most of the time, gases are not in collision. Go ahead.
Right, so when they're not in collision, How are they moving?
They're moving in straight lines or bent by gravity, yeah.
Bent by gravity, well, you can see
Yeah,
them.
they're attracted to the earth, so they do follow a curved path.
No, what that is, I'm not going into that. So after they collide, right, they're not repelling and not moving in all directions.
Yeah, of course they're moving in all directions.
But you said they're colliding, and then they have a free path.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, free path, and they can be going in any direction after the collision.
What causes the movement?
When they collide with one another, like two snooker balls hitting one another, depending on the angle of collision, they'll go off in different directions. I mean, how stupid are you?
And do they slow down?
No, they don't.
They keep on
that's
going.
what makes them elastic collisions.
Yeah, so they keep on going and colliding and repelling off of each other and all surfaces. Then you
No, they don't repel until they collide. I mean, how many times am I going to say this?
So if you have two snooker balls hit each other, are they not repelled by each other then?
When they collide, but most of the time a gas molecule is not colliding. That's one of the requirements for the ideal gas law, is that most of the time in a gas, the molecules are not in collision. Most of the time they're in their mean free path between collisions. Go ahead.
Yeah, and what causes the mean free path? What causes the movement? If it's
the
not
space
collision?
between the molecules, the
But
space between
the
the time
collision
between
causes the movement,
collisions.
does it not? What?
You overtaught me, so I missed your point, you moron.
Well,
you overtaught me again. I didn't hear you. Say again.
What is the gas constant?
What is what? I didn't hear you.
The gas constant.
What is the gas constant? You mean the gas constant R?
Yeah.
That's just a constant. It's a relationship between pressure, volume, and temperature.
Yeah, constant movement.
No, you talk about the gas constant. That's not a movement thing, you moron. That's just a constant.
That's part of what gas constant is.
No, it's not. You utter moron. That R value in the PV is equal to nRT has got nothing to do with movement. You utter denying, ineducated, low IQ, rude vegetable. You utter
I don't know what's worse.
Jesus Christ, you're just
Him or
too
you,
stupid
Ruffus.
to talk to. Brandon looks like an intellectual giant in comparison to you. Jeremy looks like Einstein in comparison to you. You're an utter moron. Jesus Christ. Brandon, do you just bring him on here to make you feel better? Jeremy, do you just associate with him just so you feel great and intelligent in comparison to this utter moron?
He's still talking, Lumpus. He's still talking.
Rumpus, chill the fuck out, bro. Jesus Christ.
So, what part of PV equals nRT involves the constant movement of gas? What part of that refers to the constant movement of gas?
The temperature reflects the...
No, temperature does not refer to the constant movement.
When you say constant, the movement's changing
the
all the time.
The constant movement of gas is constantly moving. The only time it's not is when a phase changes.
That is a function of the temperature. You are a more. Oh my God! You're getting even more. You're getting more stupid every time you open your mouth. A bit of IQ leaks out. You moron! If you think R, so you think R, which is a constant, means that they're moving only at a constant temperature. So you're saying that all gas molecules are moving at a constant velocity. Is that what you're saying? You utter moron! That constant has got nothing to do with the velocity of the molecules.
You explain R then. In PV equals nRT, explain R. Let's go.
R is a constant that links the pressure.
What? The constant of what?
In the universal equation, it's the constant that links those variables.
The constant of what?
Pressure, velocity, and temperature.
But
and
they're
also
not
N being...
They can change. They can change. They're not a constant.
What can change?
Hold on. What does V stand for?
Volume.
Oh, I thought you said velocity. I almost had you.
No, you didn't.
I almost had you.
So what
Brian.
is the constant of what? What is constant?
Do you want the units of R? Is that what you're asking me? Are you asking me for the units of the constant R? It's the relationship. It's the constant. It's the relationship between PV, N, and T. It's the constant you've got to put in to equate those things. No, it's got nothing to do with movement. You utter moron. You're getting more stupid every time you open your mouth. You know nothing about physics. You know nothing about science. And yet you think with your Dunning-Kruger
Let him respond.
Rumpus, let
Jesus
him
Christ,
respond.
this guy's getting more stupid. Guys,
Just let
he's
him-
stealing
All
IQs
right.
from you.
Something tells
He's-
me you
he's
guys
in-
wouldn't
You're
talk to
being
each other like that.
contaminated with an IQ
Just let him
stealer.
respond, Rumpus. Rumpus, let him respond. Jesus.
When I asked Rumpus what the constant was, he wasn't able to tell me.
I
'Cause
told
he
you
knows
exactly
I'm
what it
saying
was.
Right. You didn't.
I told you exactly what it
say
was.
anything. You referred to temperature and pressure and volume.
Yes, it's the constant in the universal gas law equation.
Yeah. And so
do you think all gas molecules are moving at a constant speed then?
Right, sorry?
Do you think all the gas molecules are moving at a constant speed? You accept it's got a
No, they'll
constant.
change depending
So
on
there's not a
temperature and
constant then, so the
depending on
R can't have anything to do with it then,
volume of the
can it, you
container,
moron?
you know?
R is a constant, yet you're now saying you understand that gas molecules are not moving at a constant velocity.
They
Yet
are-
you're
they
saying
are
R
moving
is the
constantly.
velocity.
No,
You
they're constantly moving, Rumpus.
moron.
No, Rumpus. They're constantly moving.
You are so
When is
stupid.
gas
You're just
not
too
moving,
stupid
Rumpus?
to talk to.
When is gas not
Rumpus,
moving?
can you?
When is gas
I'd like to
atoms
understand
not
his
moving?
position. Brian,
Well,
Yeah, just
clarify, please.
like an idiot. Well, think of someone with a really low
All you're
IQ.
doing
Or
is calling me stupid, but yet you can't address the problem. When are gas molecules not moving, Rumpus?
They're always moving. When they're except for a phase change, but I mean
leave him
gas.
answer, though, Jeremy, because he'll try and leave
Oh,
now.
all right,
He'll
my
try and
bad.
get away from it. So when
Rumpus,
are
when-
gas molecules not moving, Rumpus?
I never said they weren't not moving, you twat.
That's not my question. I asked you, when are they not moving?
They are always moving.
Right. So they're constantly moving.
Yes. But
Yeah,
that doesn't
so what
mean
is
that's
the
a
gas
constant velocity,
constant?
you moron.
Or gas constant.
The
What
R
is
is
gas
nothing
constant?
to do with velocity, you utter
So it's
moron. You've
not to
just
do-
made this up.
But velocity, hang on, velocity can change depending on temperature.
So that can't be anything to do with R then, can it? R cannot represent velocity
It talks
if
about
that's
a
a constant
movement.
and the velocity
Gas
can change.
atoms
You
are
utter
constantly
moron.
moving. No, gas atoms are constantly moving.
Yes, but they're not moving at the same speed all the time, you twat.
No,
So
they
it
can
can't
stack
be
and
anything to do
change
with that
with volume
constant, which is
and
just
temperature.
one
Volume and
constant
temperature can
value.
change.
You utter moron.
No, Rumpus, you were
Yes,
able to
you're a
explain what
moron.
that constant
You've
was,
just
what the R
demonstrated
was.
you think that a constant and you've got a and you think it represents
Constant
a variable
movements,
value.
Rumpus.
You've just contradicted the
R
definition of a
is-
constant.
the R
You
is
utter
also
moron.
referring to constant movement. Because the gas molecules, you admitted yourself, gas atoms are never
I didn't
not
admit
moving.
anything. You know nothing about
You
this.
did,
You're
you
claiming
said
that
a minute ago
R
that gas
has
atoms are
something to
never
do
not
with
moving.
velocity,
They're a
and that's a
constant. The movement is a
constant,
constant
yet
within
you've
a gas.
accepted that gas molecules
Movement is a
vary in
constant within a
velocity.
gas.
So it can't be anything to do with R, can it, you moron?
It does. Or the gas constant.
Oh my
gas
God.
is constantly moving.
Yes,
all
but
the
what
time.
velocity? You're saying R represents a particular velocity,
I never said
presumably.
the word velocity ever. You brought velocity
That's
into
what
it.
moving means,
You're
you
trying to change
twat.
it because you
It's
made
an
it
energy
more.
Moving
You made it
means
more
when you
with
say
it.
Rumpus, is it possible
unit of
maybe you
gas. It's
misunderstood what
Jesus
Brian is
Christ,
trying to
this guy's
say?
making this
per
panel
unit
more
of gas
stupid
or
by the
whatever.
moment.
Is it
It's an
possible
energy
you
constant of
misunderstood
the
what he's
gas,
trying
an
to say?
energy constant.
Friday night.
What was
Live.
the?
Friday
Hold
Ron,
on.
I
What was the
thought you were
overarching?
stupid, but
Hold
you
on,
are
Rumpus.
really, really,
I
really
know,
stupid.
No, hang on.
You
Rumpus,
ought to be in
calling me
some sort of
stupid.
remedial
Because
institution
you
if you're
All
not
right,
already.
Rumpus. All right,
You
come on.
still take that.
Come on,
Hold on.
Brandon, you can see this guy's an
No.
utter
No,
moron. You're
no.
a giant in
You're not
totally
the only one
unnecessary,
You're the
totally
one who couldn't support
unnecessary.
what I asked you. I
When
asked
some
you,
twat
energy
who knows
constant.
nothing about physics starts
you were
lecturing to
telling me, you
people
pointed
about
to
it,
temperature
it's
and
intolerable.
pressure and
This is
volume.
Dunning-Kruger
Let's hear
in
Brian's.
You
Let's hear
pointed to
Brian's
temperature,
overarching
pressure,
point.
volume.
Sorry, Rumpus. Got to mute you so we can actually understand what his point he's trying to make. Brian, go ahead.
Fucking 8 million ad homs.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that gas atoms are never not moving. They're always repelling from each other. They're always colliding with each other on surfaces, right? So they cannot create a friction boundary layer with the surface of anything and be carried along by it. That's my point. They
Ad
don't
infinitum,
adhere. Yeah, they don't adhere to gravitational force, something that was thrown out the window in 1915, because they're constantly repelling from everything, not attracting to anything. They don't attract to anything. They're single entities. And he admitted it's constantly moving, and they're always moving in all different directions away from everything. That's my point. There is no, their claims are always starting with, well, we know the earth is turning, so we know this is happening, we know that is happening. No. The natural behavior of gas completely debunks any ideas that gas could be affected by any pull of a downward force or an inward force and it also debunks any ideas of it becoming a boundary layer with the or making part of a boundary layer with the surface. It doesn't have friction.
Actually, you failed on anything because they do attract to each other, and the only reason they bounce from each other is because the energy they have is greater than their pull. So they
But they're
repel.
not being attracted
Once you
to each
cool
other.
them down enough,
repelled from
once
each
you
other
cool,
and hitting into each other.
Bright, once you
But
cool
they're
them
wrong, they're
down
not being
enough, they
attracted.
turn
They're not
fluids. You cool
attracting
them
to each other,
more,
Choiky.
you cool
It's
them
already
more.
a fluid.
They
It's
turn.
already a fluid, dipshit.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong, Choiky. They're
No,
not being
liquid. I
attracted
said
to each
not
other.
fluid.
So a massive gravity or
And
massive
then,
gases has its own gravity.
and then they will turn solid. So
Yeah, but
they
they're
always
not, they're
do
not being
attract
attracted to each other,
themselves
Choiky. That's incorrect.
only yes, only the force that caused by the energy they have cause them to repel.
So
They
But they're
don't
not being
repel
attracted
each
to
other.
each
They
other.
attract each other. Actually,
They're not being attracted to each other. They're repelling from each other all the time.
no, they bounce
They
from
don't
each
attract
other.
each other.
They
Choiky.
bounce
They
from
don't
each
attract
other.
you've
They
never
attract
seen
to each
Saturn,
other, but they
Jupiter,
bounce.
Neptune,
No,
Uranus.
they don't do that.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Sorry, I'm still talking over someone there. Someone else saying something.
Well, this guy is talking about the gas, right? Where he says they're bouncing off each other. Obviously, he's never seen Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune. You know, these gas giants that in their world, right, are I mean, the gas creates its own gravity, apparently, right?
Well, the thing is, they're kind of using gravity as a leftover force when they can't measure electromagnetism anymore. So gravity has many definitions, among them the leftover force after we can't measure electromagnetism anymore. But just because we can't measure it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily there. Taking case in point, visually trying to discern different colors in a color palette. I could show you a swatch of different, gradations of orange color, and I'll show you two colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. You'll say, they look about the same. Then I'll show you the next two shades on the color wheel, and you'll say, they look about the same. But then when I show you from the first to the third color in that swatch, they're actually different colors. So even we cannot necessarily see the difference between things, similar to these equipment that might not be measuring something that's there because it's beyond the threshold of the instrument. So it could still be electromagnetic or something else other than this leftover placeholder that we generally, assign to gravity.
My question would be, Lemon, is how much gas has to be bouncing off each other in order to create a sphere called what they call planets, right? Or lights in the sky, right? So it doesn't happen here, like Brian's saying. It does not happen here. Gases, PV equals nRT. I get it.
It's got to be a large planetary size. They say that they can't, measure electromagnetism after a certain threshold, so they say that this placeholder of gravity has to take over.
Yeah, they don't even have an inherent shape anyways. So to call them atmosphere, that's oxymoron.
Well, the ultimate test is whether or not there's curvature on our planet, because if the gravity is sufficient enough to curve our planet, okay, maybe gravity is a force of some consequence. But if we're on a flattish plane, then gravity is not curving it, and then at that point, gravity is a curve-making force. At the very least, is of no consequence. We're talking about something else here.
Rumpus made a claim earlier, and we can carry on with this one if y'all want to cut me off. But he said if you go to the top of a building and you drop an object, right, it won't land. As however far out you hold it from the top of the building, it'll land further out at the base because he's going to
friction,
gravity,
that's friction,
and Coriolis now.
That's just friction. The air around.
Well, he said they did it at the drop tower. I'm wondering if it's the same drop tower that they drop things in a vacuum in, because you'd obviously need to do that that's something you would need to do in a vacuum. I'm wondering if it's the same drop tower where they had the elements falling at different rates. You
Well,
guys see that
exactly,
one?
Jeremy. Right, exactly. But Rumpus made that claim because we've done this,
Yeah.
you twat. We've
Well, of course it will. It's going through a fluid.
I wanted to call
It's
him
going
on
through a
that,
fluid.
but couldn't get a word in edgewise because I wanted to ask him for the evidence.
Well, this is why England labors under such intellectual malaise, because over there, if you don't know something, you just shut your mouth and just act like you know it to avoid public embarrassment. But, we're rugged, ready Americans, including the non-American, like, Mr. Brian's logic here. But the thing is, if we don't know something, we humbly acknowledge it. We might get a little embarrassed, but we have enough intellectual freedom to find out the actual answer, as opposed to, being European and pretending like we, know something that we don't, or just, saving face while remaining, totally abject, in total abject ignorance. As Americans, we're very humble and very curious, and we're going to get to the bottom of this thing.
Let's just say
even in the best vacuum they could pull, there's still going to be gas in it, which could affect the fall of the object. So you would have to drop that, over and over again to make sure that it's not, you'd have to drop a perfect sphere. You'd have to drop a sphere.
What was real quick?
Go ahead.
Right. So the conventional building, we could say, has 4 sides. Right?
Your mic's really low, Aaron. I don't know why.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So a conventional building has 4 sides, right? Let's just say it's a square building, but it goes up vertically, right? So Rumpus is saying he goes to the top of that square and drops something off one side of it, right? So there's 3 other sides he could drop off of. I wanted to ask Rumpus, which side did he drop off? The north side, the south side, the east side, the west side? Which one? Right?
Well, you'd have to do this inside a closed system, obviously, at least. And you'd also have to drop a plumb line to see where...
We're debunking Rumpus's claim that he dropped something, or his scientists dropped something, and it landed further outside the building envelope because the Earth moved, right?
No, that's not. No. Wait. I'm gonna pause you. It's just drag. It's going through.
His claim is it's because his claim is because it's
fucking vacuum. And why would
his claim
move it right or left?
The face of the building moved. Is Rumpus's claim?
What?
Yeah, Rumpus's claim is Coriolis. It's his a version of Coriolis.
They're really trying.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I've read some studies on this, and it's always inconclusive. They get different results. So that's why I want to see the evidence that he's talking about.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying, because you still have drag inside no matter how hard of the best vacuum we could pull on Earth, you're still going to have drag in it from the leftover air molecules, and it's going to constantly come up inconclusive because there's other factors.
So hopefully Rumpus's claim would be like, well, we went to the west side of the top of this building and dropped it because the
Aaron, they're doing it inside of a vacuum, bro. They're not dropping it.
I'm talking about Rumpus right now, Jeremy. Just talking about Rumpus's claim. That's it, and it's almost there. He better say, because I was going to ask him, which side of the building did you drop it off of to get your deflection of the object due to Coriolis, right? And he better real quick do the math and do the Coriolis and be like, oh, we dropped it off the west side, right?
Bro, they're not dropping it.
I know, I get it. Hold on. Okay. So then Felix Baumgartner goes up and actually lands 55 miles to the east, the opposite of Coriolis, right? What is Rumpus going to say about that? We dropped an object called a human, and he landed 55 miles to the east, the opposite of Coriolis.
As he was falling, that's not exactly a controlled thing that you could
not really controlled.
Crunch the numbers
now we can go to vacuums and all that stuff. I'm back quiet.
Well, you're not going to get something adjacent to a vacuum.
Sorry, what did Lemmerborg just say a minute ago? He referred to me.
I was just saying, thank you for being an original thinker, unlike your, rotten European cohorts, who won't think or do anything unless the authorities, tell them to, like, Rumpus and others, who won't think in any sort of innovative or original way at all unless told to. Thank you.
I like Lemon.
And right back at you, Lemon. You are a free thinker too.
Thank you, good sir.
Yeah, like Garbage Island also, it stays there. It never moves. Like that like it's not like the way the storm moves at sea. It completely debunking this idea of Coriolis. That boat from Fukushima that got abandoned and then floated all the way over to America. There's another example of an object moving against this Coriolis force.
Well, I don't know
Well,
if you
they'll
guys
come
remember,
up with something clever.
Go
ahead, Brandon.
This next model year, I heard that most of the major car manufacturers are coming out with automatic Coriolis correction in their vehicles because of all the horrible traffic accidents that have taken place over the years. So.
Oh yeah, the autonomous vehicles. You got to have Coriolis correction on those, or we're going to be in fuck.
Just to confirm, Bob, the science guy, believes that yep, you have to be careful of that Coriolis when you drive your car.
Yes, he does. That is exactly what I was referring to.
People really believe this?
I just
really
confirmed
believe
it
this.
about a week ago that he still believed the same thing.
This is not a joke, Don.
No, it has to be.
Dude, you've never seen the pictures of Coriolis accidents?
Oh
yeah.
No. What?
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't that be a ticket?
Joking. Is this
It's
like
going to be a new ticket, Brandon, right?
Do you not have Coriolis insurance on
Yeah.
your vehicle? Then you got to get that, bro.
You weren't
not gonna be
following
covered.
Coriolis. Yeah. You swerved out of the line because you weren't correcting for Coriolis.
I just got some on my house just in case a tree falls on my house. And
Well, you guys know that
Coriolis.
the Earth rotation is apparently slowing, and they're saying that the apparent slowing of the Earth rotation is going to cause lots of natural disasters, so that you're going to have to now have a clause in your house policy or your insurance policy to do with natural disaster due to Earth rotation slowing.
No.
Yeah.
Data. They said it's speeding up. We had the fastest year
it's
ever
speeding
last
up now.
year.
I thought it was slowing down.
Hang on,
maybe
pause.
before. You know, they can.
Can somebody tell me there's a new drone, Mavic Mini 2, right? It can go 6,000 feet, what roughly?
No, bullshit. They depending on where you're at, they go maybe 3,000, maybe 3 miles tops. You can get
No,
it.
this is a new one.
prairies.
This is a new one.
I've had them all. They have limitations unless you have the light band, the added technology and the transponder. Then the out of the box you got.
Can I ask a question?
I have seen this one go 6,000.
What's the elevation of that mountain behind the tower?
You'd have to get qualification to fly in the airspace. They changed the rules now for the drones. Like before you could fly, before you could fly,
not the Mini 2.
Before you could find, well, it's they all have it. It's just downloaded whatever jurisdiction, whatever
250 grams.
Whatever. Yeah, and I understand. I have the Mavic Mini, but not the 2. They have limitations to height based on wherever you're at. You can get flight plans that allows you to fly higher, but you need a more sophisticated drone than the Mini.
What happens
Mini
when
2's
you reach that limit when you're going up and you reach the height limit? What happens with the drone? Just out of curiosity.
It just gives you a warning. It gives you a warning. It's maxed out, and then if you want to fly,
return home.
Depending on where you're at, you can authorize to fly higher up, but then you have to certify. Obviously, it gives you a disclaimer, and then you approve that disclaimer. In other words, you take all liability for any damages caused when you sign that waiver, so to speak. But it's all driven by location. It's all driven by location and your app. So your app downloads wherever geographic location you are at. You have to follow those aerospace rules. So.
Wow, that's pretty sophisticated.
All it does is return to home. That's really all it does.
Well, I know that I had the DJI Inspire when it first came out. I could fly 1,500 meters, no problem. And I tell you, I tell you straight up, but far away, at that distance of 1,500 meters, you still, you got 7 miles with the Inspire 1. But then again, you need a transponder and you need the light bridge technology so you don't lose your signal. I mean, they've upgraded the technology now where the return to home is good, but they capped out your height distance. I mean, I can't get my drone to go more than 3,000 feet.
So the main thing is having a level line with that drone to see if the relationship changes. Like I could look at 2 poles in a parking lot and they're the same size, but one will appear below the other one. But when I raise up an elevation, they'll even out. And the one in the back will appear taller than the other one, rising toward the level of the eyes. So if this, tower is actually lower than the mountain in the background, then that relationship needs to be maintained as you ascend in height. But if it changes with the tower in the front, getting lower lower than the mountains in the back, then perhaps it's just some sort of perspective thing. I guess the globers will make another excuse about, it being level or looking out over the globe, but we need to at least, check that and see if the aspect, ratio or whatever changes upon getting in higher elevation with like a drone or something.
Yeah, but you're not going to have a 70 mil on your drone, right? You're probably going to be sitting at a 24 or even like an 18 mil wide angle, and you're not going to have the same, the same effects as you would in a zoom lens. So
close enough. I mean, the main thing is seeing if it dips below the mountains in the background and if it rises up toward the level of the eyes, like you would expect on a flat plane, or if it just continues to be below the thing in the foreground, like you'd expect on some sort of, surface that's lowering over a ball.
Would you say, Lemon, that that picture there, Blackpool and the mountains and everything, would that be a wide angle lens?
It's shot with a 70 to 300 mil. That's what he was using. So at a long distance, you can still get a pretty good wide shot at a long distance from it if you zoom in. But
so my question will be, Data or Lemon, and I didn't mean to fight with you about the cones yesterday, but we can figure that out later.
But you were acting like a baller yesterday, so you got to believe in the ball, then, right?
All right, we can do this later. I have a really good question about that image right there, right? So the how much is supposedly missing? Something like 600 meters is missing from Ranty, right?
400 meters or something like that.
400 meters, right? And that's a lot. So we got 400 meters missing in the axis looking straight out. Whatever that, what's that? The x-axis, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How many meters are in between the mountains from left to right?
Left to right? Shoot.
Yep.
I guess you could roughly multiply it by 2 to 3. So
well, just how much distance between left to right from the mountain peaks left to right?
From the mountain peak itself, be probably like 2 times so that's like what, 2,000, 3,000 meters. But for the mountain range, that's probably something else.
Yeah, just in the photo, like from the very far left peak to the very far right peak, how far is that?
I guess you'd multiply 2 or 3 times 80 kilometers, so 160, 200 kilometers, something like that.
Okay, and from the observer's point to those mountains, how far was it again? Wasn't it like...
So the mountains was 80 kilometers, something like that?
Only 80. So we're seeing 400 meter drop over a straight-on axis, but no drop left to right, even though from peak to peak, left to right, it's much more distant. Right?
Well, here's the thing with that observation as well, is if you have 2 observers, one is on the x-axis, and then the other one is on the first observer's y-axis, but he's seeing x-axis at the same point. Only the 2 observers are, one's facing, let's say, north, and one's facing if you're facing north, the other guy would be facing east. He's seeing on his x-axis curvature, but then on his y, he doesn't see any either, right? So through all these observations, as soon as you add in other observers, it immediately destroys the fact that you're counting for curvature. But they want to focus on the tiny little observer in the x-axis.
So, Data, I would question this, right? So that camera is pointed in a certain direction, obviously, right? It's pointing in a certain direction. It gets the field of view, and we have this picture, and we've got flat earthers just flying back to the ball over this picture. This camera is pointed in one direction, right? And Ranty has put his ruler up there. They've done the math on perspective and everything, just in this one straight direction, center frame of camera, right? What if they were to turn the camera 30 degrees? Shouldn't there be even more drop, right? Doesn't the ball drop in all directions from one point of view?
That's their theory on their ball, right? So it's just that one axis at any direction you're facing. It's just that one axis.
Just a small correction to Lemon's estimates. It's about, let's say, 7 kilometers between the right peak and the left peak.
7 kilometers?
Yes.
What's the focal range of the camera?
I don't care.
Shot with a 70 to 300 mil. That's what the guy says on his page.
Because the field of view of the eyes is like 120 degrees. So that would lead you to double the distance in the forward direction to get the left-right distance. That would be about double if you're talking about anything beyond 2 radians. Because 80 kilometers would be 1 radian, and so that will give you your equilateral pi angle. So a radian is like 57 degrees. 2 radians is approximately 120. So that's at least 2 radians. So that's approximately 80 times 2.
No, it's about 10. Let's say 10 kilometers. I see 9,
So,
but I measure 9, but let's say 10.
So it must have a low field of view for the camera then, because the human eye would get like 120 degrees.
No shit, it's a zoom, Lemon.
So what's the field of view on a camera?
It's a 70 to 300 millimeter. That's what he's using. What focal length he ended up with, I don't know. He's just using a variable 70 to 300. So what he used for that shot, I don't know.
All right, well, I guess you'd have to get the field of view for the camera.
Dude, I like to see a drone sent up with a laser attached to it. Forget that.
Buy a drone and a laser, go there and do it.
Well, I guess Ranty could if he really wanted to put this to bed, but
right.
Oh well.
He's got one.
He's not interested. He proved it to himself. That's all he cares. That's all he cares.
That's the thing. I guess we're gonna have to get that drone or something, or do this ourselves.
Actually, he didn't though, because he thanked Bev for it. So he's.
I'm still wondering why you need a laser. I just never got
to add
that
the
experiment.
touches. Just to add the touches up. See if there's a little refraction
Well, if
going
you
on
have
higher up.
if you have a spotlight or a light source 1 foot from the water level at one end, whatever you're looking across, and the camera 1 foot at the other end, right? If there's a curve in the way, you'll never see that light.
You don't see it. Do you see the land below the?
I'm just saying, if you zoom in,
There are
and
cities
you
there.
see
There
the
are
light,
places.
there's no curve in the way.
There's another way too, James.
No, you won't see the light.
Yeah.
Well, I just seen Bob just uploaded a video not so long ago and how the breeze affects a laser across water. Have you seen that, Brandon?
I watched it. I wasn't
true.
100% paying
Breeze
attention,
affect
but
laser?
yeah, it was pretty well produced.
Yeah, of course it does. What are you laughing at? Of course, the breeze affects the laser.
So
There's
we have all
pressure
these
mediation
globers.
waves, and you have different ratio pressure differentials. You have different basic mediums in a way. It's different, densities to the medium. So it would absolutely affect the laser, especially if it was a different temperature.
How do you imagine wind? You imagine like a small jet of air, or is it like
No, you just imagine like pressure
everything
mediations,
above you
like
and
eddy
around
currents.
you is moving at the same rate?
Well, like
Are
if
there-
you
How
think
do
of
you
it as
imagine wind?
Are there
Never
any
mind.
surveyors in England at all? Liverpool, Blackpool, right? Any surveyors with theodolites, right? Ballers.
No, they don't build.
you know,
They don't build stuff out there.
they
They don't
do
build
it.
shit out there.
Because QE made a good point. He's like, you can show us this orthogonal view of your perspective and get the angular size, of what the mountain should be, which Ranty's relying on, then the angular size of the tower, all the shit. QE said, go out, surveyor, and take the angular measurement, and you tell me. Right? I want to see those numbers, basically, he said. So go out with your
you're
fucking
not going
stupid...
to like them because they will
Yeah.
be much less than the 4 degrees.
Exactly.
Much less.
Now your presupposition that shows your
No, I
bias.
don't need to presuppose. I know they will be much
Your
less than
bias, Tyke.
Oh, that wasn't it. Yeah. I didn't mean. I said yes to you, but what I meant was let's just go do it. You can say yes, it's going to be much less, but why not do something empirical, right?
Go fund me, send Chemo to find the surveyor.
There are no surveyors in England. Come on.
I'm sure there are. What do you mean there are no? Of course there are.
Well, send one out there. Let's do it.
Or you
You
can
guys,
go
you
in
guys
and
rely,
rent a
you guys,
theodolite.
you guys rely on the theodolite for everything. Why not do it on this one?
You guys?
Globe earthers, the other side of the argument. Yeah.
Globe earthers now needs to go and measure the angle?
Mm-hmm. Where do you get your horizon?
Why-
Where do you get your
why
horizon
globe
dip
earth?
from?
I'd rather just
Okay,
do
for the
something.
We
record,
have globe
wait, for the
earthers,
record,
but
hold on, just real
measure
quick.
the globe other
He said,
places.
"Thanks, Bev."
You look on the back of what you were just saying there. For the record, so if we did do that as globe earthers, would you accept our conclusions?
Would you thank Bev
Obviously
at the end?
not, right?
Sure.
Would you thank
Yeah,
Bev?
you wouldn't.
that
not
that
how we
would
do
be
that.
a more empirical confirmation than just looking at the photo and putting a makeshift ruler from paint shop on it and going, yep, there's 400 meters missing. Here's the angular size in the orthogonal view. Right? Come on, guys.
Aaron, how about this? How about a flat earther? How about a flat earther surveys the black swan area, and
Yeah,
then
you
globe
think
earther will
Bev.
survey the black pool area? How about that?
Yeah, you
Can
thank
I
Bev.
can I make a point there? That
Game over. That's
trigonometry.
game over right there.
Sorry, I cut in on you.
That's game
Trigonometry.
No,
Trigonometry is not our curve. All calculations for globe earth must first start with the curvature calculations, and then you must do angular size change on what is the remaining visible above what your claim of a geometric horizon is. Now, we won't even go into the geometric horizon argument. Just that alone, you can only do angular size change on what would be visible on a globe earth, let's say on Down Craig at that distance. And if you do that correctly, then what you find out is that Down Craig will be less than the height of the top of the tower to sea level. Less than half that height. Less than half that height. It's less than 50% that.
For this?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I did.
And how do you know that?
They were done live. They were done live. They were on the
Angular size reduction. That's wow.
Right, but why I'm asking is because I saw the debate between you and Ranty, and I saw that he was doing those calculations, and he came to a different conclusion than you. So I'm asking, your conclusion that
you said you saw it in my
calculations.
But they're not my calculations. They were done live. Ranty did it live. I came up with the hidden value for Dow Craig, the geometric hidden value, right? And he did on the screen. He did the angular size change of what would be the remaining visible, and it came out at less than 50% of the tower.
It came out to what we observed. That's what it came out to.
No, it didn't. It didn't. That's a load of rubbish.
Well,
that's a load of rubbish. It did not. I get him there. 1 second. 1 second.
I think I remember.
Brian,
okay.
Right.
So wasn't it that the top was actually less than 50% of what the other top would have been, but the whole middle was unexplainably missing still?
Yo, did I miss final thoughts?
No, we haven't done it.
If you want them, I'll give you the calculations now. For the tower, from the top of the tower to sea level, was 0.48362. And for the Dow Craig, from the geometric horizon to the top after curve calculations was 0.27357. So it wouldn't even be halfway up the top of the tower. It won't be even halfway up the tower to look like it was about a third of the way up the tower, because the tower is up over the water. It has a big base on it, and then that base is on land that's over the water. So off of sea level, the Dow Craig should be barely 1/3 of the way up the actual tower itself.
How far?
I don't find that to be compelling. I will do the calculations because I don't have it in front of me. I'm at work on my phone. But you bring up a good point. But that's nothing to do with a debunk. I would call that a miss.
Trying to figure out how we see the top.
He went out. Did you say miss?
Yeah, I missed the last part. I said.
Yeah,
hey Brian, can you send me all that?
Yeah, I can just send you. If you just get a pen and paper, write them down now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just basically with the globe out, you have to start with the curve calculations. Do the geometry first, and then whatever is the visible remaining, then you do the angular size change at distance on that.
Well, I kept getting different numbers from Ranty, and then everybody said I was wrong.
Send
Well,
that over
Ranty,
there.
these are Ranty's numbers. This is Ranty's number for the tower. Okay, 0.48362. Let me know when you have that, and I'll give you the next.
Are you sure it's tree and not tree 50?
All right, I'm ready.
I'm just going by what Ranty gave me on. It's on the stream.
That's what I got.
That part.
From what he gave me.
And for
Did you get what 814 feet of mountain that should be observed? So it's 40 miles away from the observer to the mountain, right? You got all those numbers?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yes.
You talking to me?
This is just the angle. Yeah, this is
talking to me,
from
huh?
this observer to for the observer to the mountain. After you've done the geometric, after you've done the geometry, the curve calculations, it's then the angular size you're left with after you just do the angular size calculations on the remaining visible. It's 0.27357. I can write them into the general chat if you want.
Yes.
It's
I
not
got
that?
Yeah. I got
I'll
that
do
down.
that now.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, I appreciate
that.
Well, I know
And-
we're
and
supposed to. Like, after I did the math, all we should see of that mountain is 814 feet. I can't tell by looking at that. That's 814 feet. It looks more than that, but that's just my guess.
It's hard to tell because that mountain that you're looking at is spread out over miles and miles. You know, it's not like you're seeing just the sheer face of a mountain. There's foothills and all kinds of
It seems
shit.
like even with the new calculation that's being presented, I feel like that makes it even worse for the flat Earth argument, because it's even if it's supposed to be lower, that would hurt a flat Earth argument, because the flat Earth argument wants it to be higher. So even if you calculate it lower,
Not necessarily lower, just smaller, right?
Right. It appears lower. It has a lower.
No, not lower, just smaller.
So it appears lower, obviously. But that would make the flat Earth argument even worse, wouldn't it?
No.
Not really, because you have to take visual occultation and optical drop into account. If you take those into account, then what we see is what we should see. It's what you would see.
Not for a flat plane, though. What you're calculating
Yes.
is even more of a curvature appearing. It appears to be even more of a curvature. And
No.
There's no curvature in that picture, dude.
No.
Right.
You're mixing up what I was saying.
Calculations being made. The calculation of being a smaller angular size is moving away from a flat plane. That's what I'm saying. The calculation makes it worse.
No, but the angular sizes, see, but the problem is you're not taking any visual effects into account here, no perspective into account. You're just doing purely just angular size change calculations. Yeah, when you, if you, the
That is a
top of the
form of
tower is
perspective,
500 feet above the observer. And how is the observer going to see the top of the mountain that's another close on 40 miles past the tower? And the observer is 10 to 12 miles from the tower. How is the observer going to see the top of the mountain that's only a very small amount bigger in angular size than the tower?
Well, Tango
I
Ice Blast is 10.6 miles away from the observer.
Like Brian's saying, the camera could have gone up 20 feet, and probably the top of the tower and the mountain in the background could have been equal level.
Yeah.
Could have gone up 25 feet, and you would have seen the mountain, right? You know, above the tower.
Exactly.
That's it.
You can calculate for that, and it's about, if I did it correctly, it was about 130 feet you'd have to go until it's even. But that's neither here nor there, because we have the observation, and then we have Bev's pictures as well, showing extreme.
Yeah, but they're from the same elevation.
They're
in the same position.
Right. But what he's showing is obviously more refraction, and then what Ranty's presented is obviously less refraction, but that doesn't change the argument for the angular size.
Yeah, but for instance, the mountain's angular size, I calculated both of them myself. The mountain's angular size is only 0.0. That's 0.0 now, 5667 more than the angular size of the tower. So if you take in the visual effects with it, it's exactly what we would expect to see.
Yeah.
I'd have to see what number, because I can't argue against calculations I haven't seen made, but I understand the number that you came to. I would just have to see what numbers you use,
Yeah.
and then the calculus.
Brian,
But
if you want to go over those sometime on the show, that'd be
Yeah.
fantastic. Like, actually spend some time going over it, because I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I
Yeah,
wanna
if
hear
I
it.
can come on tomorrow night, I'll do a bit of it with you. Or the next night.
No, tomorrow night's fine.
Like
Friday night's not a good night to do any presentation, because everybody's off their leash then. But
Well, Adam Meakin would be better to do it because he is much more adept mathematically than I am.
Oh, okay.
He's a mathematician. So Adam, if I say it, Adam, yeah,
You're
Adam
kidding
is, no, I don't mind doing it.
He's
but
a
Adam
Glober?
is a mathematician.
No.
oh, I didn't know Adam was a mathematician.
Yeah,
He
well,
isn't.
he's sorry, Choikey?
He isn't mathematician. We can go through it quickly right now if you want to.
No, that's all right.
I
Let's wait
just-
till
I don't
tomorrow
get it.
because we're already behind. We're already over 10 minutes.
It's not in the sky math. Yes. It's few tangents, few.
No, I just have
Nothing
to do the
serious.
curve calculations first.
Yeah. You're
You see the
doing
way
your,
Choikey was. Sorry,
you're doing
see the
your
way
flat
Choikey was-
plane geometry, exactly.
Yeah.
Without taking perspective
What's
into
free-
account.
Yeah, we've already heard that
What?
side of things, Chaiki, multiple times. We've
Flat
heard
plane?
how you
No, I
guys do
just
it. We understand the straw man that you guys set up for us and
Show
how the
us
math
how
works.
you do it. Show
That's
us
what I'm
how you do
asking
it.
for. That's why I'm asking Brian to present it, but not tonight because we're 10 minutes over. So let's do final thoughts. I'm gonna play something after final thoughts for the audience. Just FYI, that Cleary gave me. I have no idea what's on it, but I'm gonna play it. They gave me $5. Wanted to try something different since we're over time tonight, and maybe we'll do final thoughts, but instead of everybody talking, maybe just give one word to summarize the show tonight. You guys up for trying that? It might be stupid, but let's try it. Yeah.
I feel like it's a rip off, but I'll do it.
What am I ripping off? Oh, you're feeling ripped
How
off.
about three? How about
I feel like
three?
I'm getting gypped.
Yeah, three
Give
words.
us three words.
Three
Brandon.
words?
At least three.
Three?
3 words. Yeah.
All right, we'll do 3 words, and then if anybody really feels robbed, they can talk. All right. We'll start off with percentage.
Late. Hope. Good.
All right, thank you. Biodu.
Totally incoherent.
Intellectual dishonesty everywhere.
Thank you, Biodu. Brian's logic.
It was awesome.
C4.
Always entertaining.
Nice. Chucky.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Chrissy.
Those 4 words,
Yeah,
that's
but
going in your
C4
file.
used 2, so he yielded his last one to Chucky.
Chrissy.
No, take the first one.
No. Jeremy.
Rumpus is ridiculous.
Nice. Crit.
Coriolis insurance.
Crit. Critigard. Hashtag thanks, Bev.
Earth isn't flat.
Okay. Data.
Level plane entertainment.
Don.
Is flat.
Fe.
Touche.
Rumpus, be honest.
Phase 1.
Theodolite at Southport.
All right. Geo. James.
A wise man knows nothing, only a fool knows everything.
Holy shit, you went way fucking over the 3 words, James.
That was a run-on word.
I said only if you felt
Super
robbed.
compounds.
Oh, that's all right.
I'll take it.
Just couldn't hear the hyphens.
Jedi. Jimbo. Oh, there's Jedi.
Gas down the track, gas. Full word, John?
Nice.
Sweet. Jimbo.
It's 4 words, but we'll give it to you.
George.
Complete bullshit.
Kid
Words.
motorbike.
Disqualified.
Go show.
Live and let die.
4 words. Disqualified.
Mailman.
Welcome to Globe.
Okay. Matrix.
Incorrect. Disqualified.
Entertaining cognitive dissonance.
Mr. ES.
Encouraging innovative ideas.
Nice. Rakia.
Great song, Buster.
All right, that's coming up. Rob.
Level is horizontal.
Should have guessed that one. SE.
Yes, sir. Great show, Brandon. I'd like to say we're not living on a pear surrounded by water.
What happened?
He doesn't
What
follow
did I
the
say?
rules. We all know
I'm
that.
sorry.
Somebody's not listening. Somebody never listens.
We were doing something different tonight where we each said just 3 words as our final thoughts.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It was
Water, level, horizontal. Duh.
4 words, but we'll allow it.
Stacy.
Classic essay. Classic.
Love, not fear.
Like it. Bob.
Ballers are retards.
And my 3 words are thank you, panel. Now, if anybody has to get it out, if there's just something you've been dying the whole show to say and you just can't live without saying it right now.
Listen, we got to do something about these Jews, okay?
I want to change my 3 words.
Earth has mountains.
Oh, shit. He's joking, everyone. He's joking.
I'd like to say something.
Fuck design.
If I
Balls
may.
deep, baby.
I'd like to thank Ruhiv.
Sorry about that.
I'd like to thank Ruhiv very kindly for giving us the drop numbers and allowing me to have the skateboard paradox and the double drop hump fantasy. You are a complete moron. Thank you, sir.
Double drop.
Hey, Brandon, if you don't mind me
Sounds
saying
like the title of
something,
a
I'd like
porno.
to say something really quickly. I want to thank everybody last night that was involved in reaching out to me. A lot of you guys are in here. A lot of people got some shit from me that deserved it, and a lot of people got some shit that didn't, like Jedi, my man. And I apologize to the people that had to deal with it, but there's a lot of crap that's going on in this community that needs to be addressed. Flat Earth side especially, and Globe side. We're not treating each other with respect. It needs to quit. And it is about love and not fear, but also it's not about bullying and abuse. So I just want to say my apologies to the people that got my little bit of wrath last night that maybe didn't deserve it. But I also appreciate all the people in here that stood up for me and had my back. And you know who you are, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Everybody. Okay. So thank you, and I love you all.
Look at that, Jeremy. Honorary mention.
Why can't we
Love
bully
you
the
too,
ballers?
Stacy.
Why can't we bully the ballers?
Bullying ballers is fine. She was talking about ballers being mean to flat earthers. Of course we can treat ballers like shit.
And flat earthers being like, just.
It's only one-sided right now.
I can take it.
Keep your head up, Stacy.
You should be nice to the ballers because a lot of them are atheists. It's hard to be an atheist in this society. I mean, it is rough.
Honestly, the most tragic thing.
It's actually really easy. You don't have to make any claims whatsoever.
It's just
Except that we all came from a big bang created by the main,
nothing to
by
do
one of
with
the main
atheism.
priests.
Has
Actually,
nothing to do with
agnostic.
atheism whatsoever.
You're describing an agnostic. Hey, Rowdy Pants. You're describing an agnostic, not an atheist. An atheist does make a claim that there is no God.
No, atheist makes zero.
An agnostic says he doesn't know, he doesn't say if there is or isn't.
Yeah. Atheists
The
got
whole
all
model
kinds of
is a
shit wrapped
creation
up in their
story.
shit. All kinds of coincidences and all kinds of crazy shit. Anyway, I got to read the super chat and then go away and I'll come back and record. B-Ball for Life, Earth is Life. $5. Bev's been there with his auto level. Where are his numbers? I don't know if he took numbers. That'd be interesting to hear from Bev on whether he took any kind of captured any data when he went out there with his camera. But good question. Maybe that wasn't his purpose, but yeah. Thank you, B-Ball.
Bev doesn't know numbers if they hit him
here.
in the face.
I've seen him
It
write
seems like
numbers
a
on his
wasted
whiteboard. I'm pretty
opportunity
sure
if he
he knows numbers.
Can with auto
He's
there.
familiar with them.
Measure angles.
At
with
least,
numbers.
yeah. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you like that final thoughts instead of everybody going on for 30 seconds. Kind of gets repetitive. I thought we'd try something new. If you didn't like it, oh well, we won't do it again. We'll see. If somebody asks for it, I'll do it again. Or if we go over time, we'll do it that way. Trying to change things up a little, keep it fresh. What else was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to play this video that Cleary wanted me to play and has been asking me for a few days to play it. Hopefully you guys can hear it. That was the problem last time I tried to play it. So let me mess around with it for a minute and see if I can get it to play. You guys don't hear that, do you? Give me a thumbs up, somebody, if you can actually hear it. I don't think it's coming through. I don't see any thumbs up. So I'm going to save this. Nope. All right, thanks asking. I'm going to save it and play it. Sorry guys, I'll just save it to my desktop real quick and then this should only take 10 seconds. Buster it's named. Okay. And slowly saving it. Come on. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. Okay. And let's try it. Let's try it. That's not working. You guys don't have to stick around for this, but I want to try to play it today. Can't hear. It's a great song. Oh shit. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Listening to me talk. Okay, here we go. Let me try it now. There it is. It just showed up. Sweet. And it's playing. I'll put up now.
Double theme clouds your mind. If you walk that road, you'll be left behind, like swaying branches in the air, lost in confusion, filled with despair. Arguments and fallacies taken from the book of lies and deceit. There are those who will never see the gift of Logos that was given to me. And I know how water flows, I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know what I know. I know what I know. You don't know what you don't know. Blackpool paradox. You think it's measuring, but it's not. It's optical phenomenon. All you fools think you know what's beyond. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time, mind, trying to change what's been defined. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows it. You'll be wasting your time, trying to change what's been defined.
Horizon means the line where the sky meets the earth. Yeah, that's the definition I'm going by.
All
And I'm
horizontals
saying,
are parallel to the
let me
plane of the
finish.
horizon.
Let me finish. You can't just spout your logic at me. I'm still talking.
Oh, that's a cool ending. You can't just spout your forget that logic. You gotta forget about that. The sooner you forget about logic, the better off you'll be. There was a baller that said that to me a while back. Zanuck, that's who it was. As soon as you forget about that logic shit, you'll be better off. Anyway, that was pretty good, Clary. Thanks for pushing me to play that. And that was Buster, I take it, who made that video. I don't have a link to it on YouTube, but maybe we'll get that and give it out tomorrow. Pretty cool. Very good song. Thank you, guys. We will see you tomorrow night. And I hope you all have a good night. It's a fun show. Talk to you guys later. Bye.